The AI scene is electrified with groundbreaking advancements this month, keeping us all at the edge of our seats. A mind-blowing AI robot with human-like intelligence has the world in shock. Google DeepMind's JEST AI learns at an astonishing 13x faster pace. OpenAI's SearchGPT and CriticGPT, the force behind ChatGPT's prowess, are disrupting industries. Strawberry, their most powerful AI yet, takes center stage. GPT-4o 3.0 is the AI sensation causing a frenzy, while OpenAI's AI health coach promises personalized wellness solutions. Llama 3.1 emerges as a contender, and NeMo AI boasts 128K context capacity, running locally and free. Microsoft's new AI search could redefine how we navigate information, while OpenAI's latest model has the tech world buzzing with anticipation. There's a lot to cover, so stay tuned until the end to catch all the details. All right, let's get started. All right, guys, let's talk about the insane pace of AI and robotics development lately. It's been moving fast, real fast, but what's happening in China right now is on a whole other level. They've created an AI robot that's unlike anything we've seen before. And trust me, when I first heard about this, my mind was blown. Let's cut to the chase.
Cut to the chase!
This isn't your average robot with a silicon brain. Nah, these mad scientists have gone and given it a brain made from actual living cells. You're not mishearing me. We're talking about a robot with a partially biological brain. They've crossed a line that many thought was uncrossable, redefining the very essence of artificial intelligence. Now, before you start picturing some kind of cyborg monstrosity, let me paint you a clearer picture. They're calling this thing a brain on a chip. Sounds pretty futuristic, right? Well, it kinda is. Instead of relying on traditional computer circuits, these researchers have grown teeny tiny brain cells in a lab and plopped them onto a microchip. With surgical precision, they've transplanted the essence of human cognition into the cold heart of a machine, kickstarting a whole new era of smart machines. But here's where it gets really trippy. Our brains, right? They're these complex networks of neurons all firing and connecting. Somehow, these absolute geniuses have managed to recreate that on this tiny chip. Now let's rewind a bit and talk about how they actually pulled this off. It all starts with stem cells, the superheroes of the cell world. These little guys can transform into pretty much any cell in your body. It's like cellular shape-shifting. So these scientists took these stem cells and essentially said, today you're gonna be brain cells, and somehow they actually managed to do it. They coaxed these cells into growing into this intricate network of brain cells, mimicking what you'd find in a human brain. Then, in a move that probably made every sci-fi writer jealous, they stuck this cellular brain onto a special microchip. And just like that, robot brain. Now you might be thinking this is cool and all, but why should we care? Well, let me tell you, this is a game changer. Most AI we deal with today is based on computer programs, right? It's all coded and pre-programmed, but this is a whole different ball game. This robot can actually learn and adapt like a living creature. It's not just following a set of instructions, it's experiencing things and changing based on what it learns. It's closer to how our brains work than any AI we've seen before.
It's beautiful.
You have to guess, what's it look like?
Like it's thinking.
The implications of this are huge. Just take a second to consider the possibilities. Think about how this could revolutionize our understanding of the brain itself.
Artificial intelligence.
By studying these lab-grown brain networks, we might uncover new ways to tackle neurological diseases like Alzheimer's or Parkinson's. It's not just cool science, it's potentially life-changing stuff. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. This tech, as amazing as it is, also opens up a whole can of worms when it comes to ethics. We're entering uncharted territory here. At what point does a robot with a living brain become, well, alive? It's not just a philosophical question anymore. It's something we might actually have to grapple with in the near future. Now, I can almost hear some of you freaking out. Skynet, anyone? Are we on the brink of a robot uprising? Relax, we're not quite there yet. This is still early days, and there's a lot of work to be done before we see this tech out in the wild. But it does mean we need to start having serious conversations about the implications of this technology. The thing is, this isn't just about creating smarter machines. It's about blurring the lines between artificial and biological intelligence. We're talking about a future where the boundaries between AI and biotechnology start to disappear. It's exciting, it's a little scary, and it's definitely going to change the world as we know it. But here's the thing, with all this potential comes a huge responsibility.
Are you afraid that I'm gonna turn into some kind of criminal? Quit worrying about me, okay?
We're not just talking about technological advancement here, we're talking about potentially redefining what it means to be alive, to be conscious. These are big, heavy concepts that we as a society need to wrestle with. But that's the nature of progress, isn't it? It pushes us out of our comfort zones, forces us to confront new realities, and while it can be daunting, it's also incredibly exciting. Now, interestingly, Jeff Bezos and SoftBank have invested a staggering $300 million in a startup called Skilled AI. Now, it seems these folks aren't going for the whole lab-grown human cells brain in a robot thing. Instead, they're aiming to build a full-on artificial brain from the ground up. They say they're pioneering what they call a robot brain, which is about crafting a general-purpose AI brain that can be installed in any robot, making it capable of performing complex and varied tasks without needing specific programming for each task. Skilled AI, led by some brilliant minds from Carnegie Mellon, envisions a future where robots can handle adverse physical conditions or perform dexterous manipulations in industrial and household environments. They're pushing the envelope towards developing artificial general intelligence, or AGI, which aims to achieve human-like intelligence in robots. Now, there's actually another breakthrough in robotics, maybe not as crazy as human brains in robots, but still pretty wild. An Indian company's just jumped into the robot game, and they're not messing around. So Zen Technologies and their partner AI Turing Technologies have cooked up this four-legged robot. They're calling it Prahasta, which is apparently some badass warrior from Hindu mythology. And let me tell you, this thing's no joke. Picture this. A robot dog, but instead of fetching your slippers, it's carrying an assault rifle. Yeah, this isn't Boston Dynamics parkour bot. This thing's built for defense. Now, Prahasta's got some seriously cool tech under the hood. It uses something called LiDAR, which is like radar but with lasers to scan its surroundings. And it's got AI that helps it understand the terrain and plan missions. These guys released a video showing off what Prahasta can do, and it's pretty impressive. This robot's climbing stairs like it's nothing with a gun strapped to its back. It's hopping over obstacles and gaps like some kind of mechanical gazelle. And get this, they say it can even pick up a fully grown adult. I'm talking about a robot dog that can fireman carry a 180-pound person, which could be potentially life-saving in dangerous situations. If this robot gets knocked over, it can get right back up on its own. They're calling it auto-resurrection, which sounds pretty dramatic, but when you see it in action, it's hard not to be impressed. Now, they've also unveiled Barbaric URCWS. It's basically a remote-controlled weapon station that they're claiming is the lightest in the world, and it's not just for land. They're saying it can be used on ships, too. The folks at Zen are pretty hyped about all this. Their big boss, Ashok Atluri, is talking about how these robots are going to change the game for defense operations. He thinks this is going to make people sit up and take notice of how important robotics could be in combat and recon missions. It's worth noting that Zen's not new to this game. They've been in the defense tech business for a while, making things like anti-drone systems and combat simulators. In fact, they've shipped out over 1,000 simulators and training systems worldwide. So, what does all this mean? Well, we're looking at a future where robots aren't just in factories or delivering packages. We're talking about robots that could be on the front lines. But of course, just like with the brain chip robots, this raises some big questions. How much autonomy should we give to armed robots? What are the ethical implications of using AI in defense? These are heavy topics we're going to have to wrestle with as this tech keeps advancing. All right, super exciting stuff coming out of Google's DeepMind. So, they've come up with a new way to train AI models that's not only faster, but also way more efficient. This method is called JEST, which stands for Joint Example Selection, and trust me, it's pretty revolutionary, so let's talk about it. All right, so if you know anything about AI, you know that training these models usually takes a ton of time and a lot of computing power. It's like trying to teach a child every subject in school one by one, and it's super energy intensive. For example, systems like ChatGPT guzzle a lot of power and water to keep those massive data centers cool. There are even comparisons to the energy demands of Bitcoin mining. Yeah, it's that intense. But here's where JEST comes into play. The researchers at DeepMind have found a way to make this whole process way more efficient. How efficient? Like up to 13 times fewer iterations and 10 times less computation. That's a game changer for both speed and energy consumption. So how does JEST work? Instead of picking individual pieces of data to train on, which is what's usually done, JEST looks at groups or batches of data and picks the best ones that work well together. Think of trying to learn multiple languages. Instead of learning English, then German, then Norwegian separately, you might find it more effective to study them in a way where what you learn in one language helps you understand the others. That's essentially what JEST does, but with data. Here's a bit more on the technical side, but I'll keep it simple. The method JEST uses is called multimodal contrastive learning. This means it looks at different types of data, like images and text, together, and it identifies dependencies between them. This approach significantly speeds up the learning process because the AI can learn from these well-matched data batches much more efficiently. What makes JEST even cooler is that it starts with something called a pre-trained reference model. This model helps steer the AI towards the high-quality, well-curated data, making the training even more efficient. Now, the study showed that using JEST, they could achieve the same performance as traditional methods with up to 13 times fewer iterations. Also, it requires 10 times less computational power. So, in terms of energy consumption, that's a massive reduction, which is great news for the environment. Now, the JEST research comes not a moment too soon, as the tech industry and world governments are beginning discussions on artificial intelligence's extreme power demands. To give you an idea, AI workloads consumed about 4.3 gigawatts in 2023, which is almost equivalent to the annual power consumption of the entire nation of Cyprus. And this trend is only going up. A single ChatGPT request currently costs 10 times more in power than a Google search. It's estimated that AI might take up a quarter of the United States power grid by 2030. Therefore, any method like JEST that can drastically cut down on the power required for training AI models is incredibly significant, potentially easing the environmental impact and the financial costs associated with AI advancements. Furthermore, the success of the JEST method hinges on the quality of the training data. The bootstrapping technique utilized by JEST requires a highly curated initial dataset to function effectively. This means that while JEST shows great promise for large-scale, well-funded AI projects, it might pose challenges for hobbyists or smaller developers who lack the resources to compile high-grade training data. Essentially, this method emphasizes the old adage of garbage in, garbage out, underlining the necessity for top-tier data to achieve optimal results. If implemented widely, however, JEST could revolutionize how major players in the AI industry approach model training, possibly reducing costs and power consumption while accelerating development timelines. Another neat thing they found is something they call data quality bootstrapping. It sounds fancy, but it's pretty straightforward. It means using a small, highly curated set of data to guide the training on a much larger, messier set of data. So even if you start with a tiny, really good data set, JEST can help you scale up to train on a vast amount of data efficiently without losing quality. This is a big deal because high-quality data sets are usually hard and expensive to create. Now, this method isn't just limited to one type of data or task. It works across various benchmarks, which means it's versatile. For example, they tested it on a data set called WebLI, which is a large-scale collection of images and text from the web. And the results showed remarkable improvements in both learning speed and resource efficiency. So if JEST proves effective on a larger scale, it could drastically reduce the power needed to train AI models. This means we could develop more powerful AI tools with the same resources we use now, or use fewer resources to create new models. Essentially, we're looking at faster advancements in technology, less strain on our energy resources, and a smaller environmental footprint. It's a win-win-win. All right, now, the big AI companies in China have been making some major claims about their large language models at this huge AI conference happened recently. It's like a competition to see who can boast the most impressive advances. You know what I mean? So there's this company called SenseTime. They're kind of big shots in the AI game over there. They just unveiled the latest versions of their SenseNova LLMs. And get this, they're claiming the new 5.5 model is like 30% better than the previous one from just a few months ago. Wild, right? The CEO, Xu Li, he was on stage hyping it up big time, saying the key to success in Chinese AI is basically building these high-level logic systems using synthetic data for different industries. Xu claimed that this 5.5 model supposedly outperformed GPT-4o, the latest and greatest from OpenAI, in 5 out of 8 key metrics according to some benchmarking data from a platform called OpenCompass. I mean, take that with a grain of salt for sure, but still, that's a pretty big flex. Flexing on OpenAI like that is a gutsy move. Now, despite making these huge claims about their model's performance, SenseTime's stock price actually tanked like 16% on the same day in Hong Kong. Crazy reversal, right? You'd think investors would be stoked about supposedly having a model that can take down GPT-4, but I guess the market had other ideas. And it's not just SenseTime making noise at this conference. Oh no, Alibaba's cloud division, the folks behind the Tongyi Chanwen LLMs, they were bragging about getting like millions of new downloads and a surge in customers for their AI platform in just the last couple of months. The CTO, Joe Jingren, he was really pushing this whole open source angle hard, saying their models are now fully open source and closing the gap with closed source ones from the big Western players. Smart move, if you ask me, makes it more accessible and gets more eyes on their tech. But here's the wildest part of it all. There's this AI startup CEO, Yan Junji, from a company called Minimax. And he straight up predicted that in the future, there will only be like 5 companies making these huge LLMs globally. Now that's a hot take if I've ever heard one, right? I mean, could you imagine that kind of consolidation happening? Just 5 players controlling the entire large language model space worldwide? Insane to think about. Of course, Yan didn't actually say how many of those 5 would be Chinese companies, so we'll have to wait and see on that one. But the implication is clear. He thinks there's a real chance for Chinese firms to be among that tiny elite group someday. Whether that's realistic or not, I'll leave that up to you to decide. Oh, and back to SenseTime for a sec. They also showed off a couple of other new models at this big Shanghai conference. The first is called 5o, and it's this multimodal model that can combine different data types like text, images, video, all that jazz into one seamless experience. And they did a live demo with the 5o that was low-key mind-blowing, not gonna lie. So there's this SenseTime employee on stage, right? And he takes a video of himself just standing there, seemingly nothing special. But then the 5o model instantly identifies that he's attending this World AI conference thing just from analyzing his staff badge and t-shirt in the video. It's wild, but it gets even crazier. The model could then answer follow-up questions about what the conference is for and all the deets, like it achieved true understanding from just that little video clip. I'm talking next level, multimodal AI capabilities on display here, folks. So yeah, between the bold performance claims, the open source pushes, the predictions of an LLM oligopoly, and the awesome tech demos, it's been an absolute whirlwind of big moves and even bigger ambitions from the Chinese AI giants at this conference. And that's not even getting into what companies like Baidu and Tencent were unveiling. It's definitely an exciting time in the AI space, that's for sure. And it'll be fascinating to see how all these moonshot plays actually pan out in the real world. Can the Chinese models really take down the Western juggernauts? Will we see a small group of ultra-dominant LLM providers emerge globally? So many intriguing possibilities. One thing's for certain though, these Chinese tech companies are clearly not messing around. They've got their sights set on AI supremacy, and they're going all in to make it happen, whether that's through cutting-edge R&D, savvy business strategies, or sheer bravado and ambition. OpenAI has announced a new AI search engine called SearchGPT. Obviously, it's powered by AI, and it's setting up to be a serious competitor to the likes of Google and Bing. Let's unpack what this means and why it's such a game changer. So, OpenAI is rolling out SearchGPT as a prototype to a select group of users and publishers. It's designed to combine the capabilities of OpenAI's AI models with real-time web searches. What's different here is that SearchGPT doesn't just spit out a list of links, it actually organizes the information and presents it in a more user-friendly way. Let me give you an example from OpenAI's blog post. Say you search for music festivals in Boone, North Carolina in August 2024. SearchGPT won't just throw a bunch of links at you, it'll give you a summary of the festivals it found, complete with little descriptions and links to the sources. They say their new search engine aims to make finding information online faster and more efficient. Everything is presented in a clear, conversational format, which makes the whole experience a lot more intuitive. OpenAI is planning to eventually integrate these search features directly into ChatGPT, which could be a major upgrade for users who already rely on ChatGPT for various tasks. Now, OpenAI is also addressing some of the major concerns that have come up with AI in search. We've seen other AI search tools, like Google's AI Overviews and Perplexity, face backlash from publishers. These tools have been accused of taking content without proper attribution, which can hurt traffic and ad revenue for the original sites. But OpenAI is taking a different approach by partnering with publishers and giving them control over how their content is used. They've even got big names like the Wall Street Journal and the Atlantic on board, which speaks to the level of trust they're building. One of the standout features of SearchGPT is how it handles attributions. When you search for something, you get answers with clear inline citations and links to the original sources. This not only helps users know where the information is coming from, but also directs traffic back to the publishers. This move is directed at fostering a more symbiotic relationship between AI tools and content creators. In the early stages, only about 10,000 test users will have access to SearchGPT. OpenAI is using direct content feeds and working with third-party partners to build the search results. This approach is all about getting feedback and fine-tuning the system before a wider rollout. The idea is to make web searches not just faster, but also more accurate and reliable. Now, OpenAI's entry into the search market comes at a time when Google is facing significant challenges. The US Department of Justice has an antitrust lawsuit against Google, accusing it of monopolizing the internet search industry. And this opens the door for competitors like SearchGPT to make a significant impact. Alphabet shares fell 3.6% in after-hours trading following OpenAI's announcement of SearchGPT. Google, which currently dominates the search market with about 90% of search engine traffic, is facing a direct challenge from OpenAI's latest innovation. This development highlights the growing competition in the AI search space, particularly between Microsoft-backed OpenAI and Google. OpenAI's unveiling of SearchGPT has been seen as a significant threat to Google's search dominance since the rise of ChatGPT in 2022. In response, Google has integrated AI features into its own search engine to fend off competition from rivals like ChatGPT and Perplexity, which is backed by Jeff Bezos. Despite these efforts, speculation about Alphabet's potential vulnerability to AI competition had not materialized, as evidenced by Alphabet's recent double-digit advertising revenue growth for its second quarter. SearchGPT, however, represents a more direct and formidable challenge to Google than previous innovations. OpenAI described it as a prototype designed to combine the capabilities of their AI models with real-time web information, providing fast and timely answers with clear and relevant sources. Another really interesting aspect of SearchGPT is the visual answers feature. While full details are still a bit unclear, it seems like this will involve AI-generated videos and images to enhance the search experience. This could be incredibly useful for visual learners or for topics that lend themselves well to graphical representations. OpenAI has been steadily moving towards tighter, real-time web integration for ChatGPT. GPT 3.5 was an early step in that direction with more current information. Then came the Browse with Bing feature, a basic implementation but a clear signal of their intent. Now, SearchGPT takes a major leap by making AI a central part of how we search the web. It's evident that OpenAI doesn't just want to compete with existing search engines, they want to fundamentally redefine how we interact with online information. By making searches more conversational and seamlessly blending up-to-date web data, they aim to create a smoother, more efficient user experience. This prototype phase is critical for working out any kinks and ensuring the system functions well for a wide audience before a broader rollout. They are obviously taking the time to gather feedback, make adjustments, and deliver a polished product. It's clear now that SearchGPT isn't just about finding information, it represents a reshaping of the entire search experience to be more engaging, visually compelling, and tightly interwoven with the ever-evolving web. So what's next for SearchGPT? OpenAI plans to keep iterating and improving the experience, especially in areas like local information and e-commerce. They'll be seeking feedback from both users and publishers to make the service even better. If you're interested in trying it out, you can sign up for the waitlist on their website. This SearchGPT release could really shake up the online search industry. With Google facing major antitrust lawsuits and new AI-powered search tools like SearchGPT emerging, we're seeing big changes in how people will find and access information on the internet. This is an area that's heating up, so it's worth paying attention as things are about to get competitive and disruptive. All right, now, turning to a more critical matter, OpenAI is struggling with major financial problems. According to internal projections, the company is expected to lose a staggering $5 billion this year. That's right, $5 billion. To put that number into perspective, that's roughly the GDP of a small country. So what's going on? Well, it turns out that developing and maintaining AI models like ChatGPT is extremely expensive. The company needs to pay for massive amounts of computing power to process all the data and generate responses. And we're not talking about just any computers, we're talking about supercomputers that can handle enormous amounts of information. But that's not all. OpenAI has also been hiring a lot of new staff to help develop and improve its AI models. In fact, the company has doubled its workforce in the past year alone. And all those new employees come with a hefty price tag. Now, you might be wondering how OpenAI plans to make up for all these losses. Well, the company does generate some revenue from ChatGPT, but it's not nearly enough to cover its expenses. In fact, estimates suggest that ChatGPT only brings in around $100 million to $200 million per year. That's a tiny fraction of what OpenAI needs to break even. So who's footing the bill? Well, it turns out that Microsoft is providing subsidies to help cover its losses. But even with Microsoft's support, OpenAI is still struggling to find a way to make its business model work. The problem is that their primary focus is on research, not generating revenue. The company wants to push the boundaries of what's possible with AI, but that's a costly and time-consuming process. And while ChatGPT has been a huge success, it's still not clear how OpenAI plans to monetize it in the long term. This raises some serious questions about the future of OpenAI. Can the company find a way to make its business model work, or will it continue to rely on Microsoft's subsidies? And what happens if Microsoft decides to pull the plug? The truth is, OpenAI's struggles are a reminder that developing AI is incredibly challenging and expensive. It's not just a matter of throwing a bunch of money at the problem and hoping for the best. It takes time, effort, and resources to create AI models that are truly useful and effective. But despite these challenges, OpenAI is still pushing the boundaries of what's possible with AI. And that's something to be excited about. With its talented team and focus on research, OpenAI has the potential to make some truly groundbreaking discoveries. OpenAI has recently launched a fascinating new model called CriticGPT, and it's creating quite a buzz in the AI community. CriticGPT is essentially an AI designed to critique other AI models, specifically targeting errors in code produced by ChatGPT. And if you wonder why OpenAI felt the need to create such a tool, the answer lies in the challenges posed by the increasing sophistication and complexity of AI systems like ChatGPT. So, ChatGPT, powered by the GPT-4 series of models, is already pretty advanced and is continually learning and improving through a process known as reinforcement learning from human feedback, or RLHF. This means that human trainers review ChatGPT's responses and provide feedback, which the model then uses to refine its future outputs. However, as these AI models get better and more nuanced, spotting their mistakes becomes a lot harder for human reviewers. This is where CriticGPT will be very useful, even crucial. So this model, also based on the GPT-4 architecture, was created to help identify and highlight inaccuracies in ChatGPT's responses, especially when it comes to coding tasks. The main idea is that CriticGPT acts like a second layer of review, catching errors that might slip past human reviewers. And it's not just theoretical, the results have been impressive. According to OpenAI's research, human reviewers equipped with CriticGPT outperform those without it 60% of the time when assessing ChatGPT's code output. This means that the model can significantly enhance the accuracy of AI-generated code by spotting mistakes more effectively. Training CriticGPT involved a process similar to what was used for ChatGPT itself, but with a twist. OpenAI's researchers had AI trainers manually insert errors into code generated by ChatGPT. Then they provided feedback on these inserted mistakes. This helped CriticGPT learn to identify and critique errors more accurately. In tests, CriticGPT's critiques were preferred over ChatGPT's in 63% of cases when dealing with naturally occurring bugs. One reason for this is that CriticGPT tends to produce fewer small, unhelpful complaints, often called nitpicks, and is less prone to hallucinate problems that aren't really there. Another interesting finding from the research is that agreement among annotators, or the people reviewing the critiques, was much higher for questions involving specific, predefined bugs, compared to more subjective attributes like overall quality or nitpicking. This suggests that identifying clear objective errors is easier and more consistent than evaluating more subjective aspects of code quality. OpenAI's research paper discusses two types of evaluation data: human-inserted bugs and human-detected bugs. Human-inserted bugs are those manually added by the trainers, while human-detected bugs are naturally occurring errors that were caught by humans during regular usage. This dual approach provides a comprehensive understanding of CriticGPT's performance across different scenarios. Interestingly, agreement among annotators improved significantly when they had a reference bug description to work with. That just highlights the importance of having a clear context for evaluation, which helps in making more consistent judgments. Now, CriticGPT's performance is not just limited to spotting errors, it also enhances the quality of critiques. Human reviewers often kept or modified the AI-generated comments, indicating a synergistic relationship between human expertise and AI assistance. This synergy is crucial because while CriticGPT is powerful, it's not infallible. It helps humans write more comprehensive critiques than they would alone, while also producing fewer hallucinated bugs than if the model worked alone. The ultimate goal of CriticGPT is to integrate it into the RLHF labeling pipeline, providing AI trainers with explicit AI assistance. This is a significant step towards evaluating outputs from advanced AI systems, which can be challenging for humans to rate without better tools. By augmenting human capabilities, CriticGPT helps ensure that the data used to train AI models is more accurate and reliable, leading to better performance of these models in real-world applications. Now, OpenAI also implemented a method called Force Sampling Beam Search, FSBS, to balance the trade-off between finding real problems and avoiding hallucinations. This method allows CriticGPT to generate longer and more comprehensive critiques by using additional test time search against the critique reward model. Essentially, FSBS helps CriticGPT be more thorough in its critiques without going overboard on imaginary issues. FSBS is actually a fascinating technique. During FSBS, CriticGPT forces the generation of specific highlighted sections of code using constrained sampling to ensure these highlights are accurate. The model then scores these highlighted sections based on a combination of critique length and the reward model score. This balance ensures that the critiques are not just comprehensive, but also precise, reducing the likelihood of hallucinations and nitpicks. The FSBS method involves generating multiple samples for each input and selecting the best scoring critiques. This approach enhances CriticGPT's ability to identify and articulate significant issues in code, making its feedback more valuable for human reviewers. In practice, CriticGPT has shown that it can help human reviewers write more comprehensive critiques while reducing the number of nitpicks and hallucinated problems. For instance, in the experiments, human reviewers assisted by CriticGPT wrote substantially more comprehensive critiques than those working alone. This was true for both human-inserted bugs and naturally occurring bugs. Moreover, CriticGPT's performance isn't just limited to code. The researchers also tested its ability to critique general assistant tasks. They found that CriticGPT could successfully identify issues in tasks rated as flawless by a first human reviewer, which were later found to have substantial problems. However, it's important to note that while CriticGPT enhances human capabilities, it can't completely replace human expertise. There are still tasks and responses that are so complex that even experts with AI assistance may struggle to evaluate them correctly. But by working together, human and AI teams can achieve much more than either could alone. So by using AI to help fix AI, OpenAI is addressing one of the fundamental challenges in AI development: the difficulty of evaluating and improving increasingly sophisticated models. CriticGPT not only helps catch more errors, but also improves the quality of human reviews, making the entire RLHF process more effective. There's still much work to be done, but CriticGPT is a clear example of how innovative approaches can help tackle some of the most pressing challenges in AI development. Now, it's no secret that OpenAI is deeply invested in pushing the boundaries of AI, constantly refining its systems, models, and overall vision on a global scale. However, a recent development has caught many by surprise. OpenAI has made the decision to completely sever its ties with China, going as far as blocking access to its API within the country. This week, OpenAI made a big decision to block access to its site from mainland China and Hong Kong. This means developers and companies in those regions can't use some of the most advanced AI technologies anymore. This move by OpenAI isn't too surprising because of the ongoing geopolitical tensions and competition in technology. However, it's a significant moment in the AI world that could intensify the tech Cold War. This decision will have major impacts on the future of AI both in China and around the world, setting the stage for even fiercer competition among leading AI powers. OpenAI's decision comes in response to increasing government demands and the rivalry for AI dominance. This choice helps protect the company's intellectual property while navigating the complicated geopolitical landscape. It highlights the growing digital divide between China and Western countries, which is becoming a defining feature of this tech war era. By cutting ties with China, OpenAI is contributing to a broader trend of tech decoupling, where the US and Chinese tech ecosystems are becoming more separate, according to experts. For Chinese AI companies, OpenAI's blockade presents both challenges and opportunities. On the downside, not having access to OpenAI's advanced models like GPT-4 could slow the adoption and integration of cutting-edge AI technologies. This is especially tough for startups and smaller companies that don't have the resources to develop similar models on their own. However, the move could also spark innovation in China. Without access to OpenAI's technology, Chinese companies might push harder to develop their own. This could lead to a new boom in AI research, making the Chinese tech scene more energetic and self-sufficient. Big Chinese companies like Alibaba, Baidu, and Tencent are in a good position to take advantage of this situation. They have the money, talent, and infrastructure to boost their AI research and development. This could lead to these giants making even more efforts to innovate in AI and build their own alternatives to OpenAI's models. Moreover, the Chinese government has been heavily investing in its tech industry with large amounts of money and supportive regulations. This could lead to a rush of new AI research, increasing competition among Chinese companies and helping China keep up with other countries. OpenAI's move will also affect the global AI landscape. It's likely to lead to a more fragmented AI world, where different countries and regions align with either the US or China based on their access to AI technologies. For example, countries in Southeast Asia and Africa, which have strong economic ties with China, might favor Chinese AI solutions. On the other hand, Europe and North America might rely more on American-based AI technologies. This split could have significant implications for international cooperation, data sharing, and the development of global AI standards. By controlling who can use its technology, OpenAI is exercising digital sovereignty. This is part of a broader effort to ensure that AI technologies are developed and used in ways that meet ethical standards and security requirements. I still think that international tech collaboration is vital, but companies viewing China as a crucial market now face complex geopolitical challenges. Apple, for example, is reportedly seeking local partners to provide services compliant with China's strict AI regulations, showing how firms must navigate these delicate waters. In the end, the future of AI depends not only on technological advancements, but also on the geopolitical strategies and policies that shape its development and use. OpenAI is apparently working on some new and exciting technology. According to an inside source and some internal documents obtained by Reuters, OpenAI has a project codenamed Strawberry that's aiming to take their AI models to the next level. So, what is Strawberry? Well, from what I can gather, it's a novel approach to how OpenAI's AI models work, and it's focused on enhancing their reasoning capabilities. You see, one of the biggest challenges in AI right now is getting these models to not just spit out information, but to actually understand and reason about the world like humans do. Current AI models, as impressive as they are, still struggle with things that seem like common sense to us, like recognizing logical fallacies or playing simple games like tic-tac-toe. They often hallucinate or make up information when faced with these kinds of problems. You know what I mean? Like, they might be able to recite facts and figures, but putting that knowledge into practice in a reasoned, logical way is a whole different ballgame. But OpenAI is hoping that Strawberry will be a game changer in this regard. The details are being kept tightly under wraps, even within the company itself, but from what I can tell, Strawberry involves a specialized way of processing the AI models after they've been trained on massive datasets. Like, after the models have learned from all this data, Strawberry is supposed to help them take that knowledge and use it in a more reasoned, human-like way. The goal is to enable these models to plan ahead, understand how the physical world works, and reliably work through complex, multi-step problems. Essentially, they want their AI to be able to reason and think more like humans do, which is no easy feat. We're talking about replicating the kind of intuitive, common-sense reasoning that comes so naturally to us, but is incredibly difficult to encode into an AI system. Now, this is a big deal because improved reasoning is seen as the key to unlocking the true potential of AI. With better reasoning capabilities, AI could potentially make major scientific discoveries, plan and build new software applications, and who knows what else. The possibilities are kind of mind-boggling, to be honest. Imagine an AI that can not only process and analyze data, but also use that data to formulate hypotheses, test them out, and draw logical conclusions. That's the kind of thing we're talking about here. According to the sources and documents, OpenAI is specifically aiming for Strawberry to enable their AI models to perform what they call deep research. This means the models would be able to autonomously browse the internet, gather information, and use that information to conduct research and solve problems all on their own. Like, they wouldn't need human guidance or intervention. They'd be able to essentially teach themselves and explore new areas of knowledge, kind of like how a human researcher would approach a new topic. They're even planning to test Strawberry's capabilities by having it do the work of software and machine learning engineers. And if Strawberry is successful, we might see AI systems that can not only crunch data and spit out code, but actually design and implement entire software applications from start to finish without any human involvement. I should also mention that OpenAI isn't the only company working on improving reasoning in AI. Tech giants like Google, Meta, and Microsoft are also experimenting with different techniques to tackle this challenge, but Strawberry seems to be OpenAI's big bet in this area, like their main focus when it comes to advancing AI reasoning. Now, this AI has some similarities to a method developed at Stanford called self-taught reasoner, or STAR. This method, it's supposed to enable AI models to bootstrap themselves into higher intelligence levels by creating their own training data. Basically, the idea is that the model can learn and improve itself without needing humans to constantly feed it new data. One of the creators at Stanford said that if things keep going in that direction, we as humans have some serious things to think about. Like, if AI systems can continually enhance their own reasoning abilities, who knows how advanced they could become? It's both exciting and a little bit scary to think about, if I'm being honest. Of course, the Strawberry project is still shrouded in mystery, and it's unclear exactly how close it is to being released or implemented in a real-world setting. Now, OpenAI has been privately signaling to developers and other outside parties that they're on the cusp of releasing technology with significantly more advanced reasoning capabilities, which is likely referring to Strawberry. So we might be seeing something big from them pretty soon. Who knows? They actually showed a demo of some research project with new human-like reasoning skills at an internal meeting recently, but it's unclear if that was Strawberry or something else entirely. Regardless, it seems like they're making some serious progress in this area. Oh, and get this, one of the sources said that they saw earlier demos of what staffers claimed was the project formerly known as QStar, which was apparently already seen as a breakthrough within OpenAI. Another source even said that OpenAI has tested AI internally that scored over 90% on a math dataset, which is like a benchmark of championship math problems. Crazy stuff, right? Now, I know what you're probably thinking. If Strawberry is so groundbreaking, why haven't we heard more about it? Well, that's a great question, and the truth is, OpenAI is playing their cards pretty close to the chest on this one. They're notoriously secretive about their research and development, which makes sense when you're working on technology that could potentially be world-changing. But at the same time, they've got to be careful not to overhype things too much, you know? We've seen the companies make grandiose claims about AI breakthroughs before, only for the reality to fall a little bit short. So it's understandable that OpenAI would want to keep things under wraps until they're absolutely sure they've got something game-changing on their hands. That said, the fact that they're being so tight-lipped about Strawberry is kind of telling in itself, don't you think? Like, if it was just another incremental improvement, they'd probably be a bit more open about it. But the secrecy surrounding this project suggests that they really believe they're onto something big, something that could fundamentally change the way we think about and interact with AI. And if anyone can deliver on the promise of truly reasoned, human-like AI, it's probably OpenAI. And if Strawberry is even half as revolutionary as it's being made out to be, well, it could usher in a whole new era of AI capabilities that we can scarcely imagine right now. Of course, as always, there are also potential downsides and risks to consider, as is always the case with powerful new technologies. As that Stanford professor said, if AI reasoning abilities continue to rapidly advance, we as humans might have some serious existential questions to grapple with. What does it mean for our place in the world if machines can outthink us in virtually every domain? But hey, those are conversations for another day, right? For now, let's just bask in the excitement and potential of what Strawberry could represent. All right, now, on another note, there's a breakthrough in AI hardware that's particularly exciting for ChatGPT. A startup named Etched, founded by 2 Harvard dropouts, has introduced a new AI chip called SoHu. They claim this chip can run models like ChatGPT up to 20 times faster than NVIDIA's top H100 chip and 10 times faster than the more powerful B200. If true, this could drastically improve AI performance and capabilities. NVIDIA's GPUs, like the H100 and B200, have dominated the AI hardware industry, making them a leader with a market cap surpassing $3 trillion. However, Etched, based in California, aims to disrupt this with their specialized transformer ASIC, application-specific integrated circuits chip, designed specifically for transformer AI models. This means SoHu excels in running models like ChatGPT, OpenAI's Sora, and Google's Gemini, but it cannot handle other AI models like convolutional neural networks used for image recognition. Etched has already raised $120 million and secured pre-orders worth tens of millions of dollars. They've also partnered with TSMC to manufacture the 4-nanometer chip, which will help scale up production in their first year. While these advancements are still theoretical, the potential of SoHu could lead to exciting new AI products that were previously impossible due to GPU limitations. These new developments show just how fast AI is moving forward. OpenAI is trying to make AI think more like us, which could change how we use technology every day. Meanwhile, Etched is shaking things up with a new chip that could make AI run way faster than ever before, challenging big names like NVIDIA. It's an exciting time because we might soon see AI that's both incredibly smart and super efficient. As we look to the future, it's thrilling to imagine all the new possibilities this technology will bring into our lives. The AI world has been on fire these last few days. OpenAI introduced 5-level road to AGI. Elon Musk dropped major updates on Grok 2 and Neuralink's brain chips, Samsung's upgrading Bixby, and Amazon's rolling out new AI tools. Plus, there's big news from OpenAI, AMD, and even a virtual beauty pageant win. So stick around for all the details. All right, so OpenAI has set a 5-level system to track its progress toward human-level artificial intelligence, AGI, and it's almost at level 2. Right now, the company is on the first level, which is conversational AI. They shared this system with employees and plan to share it with investors soon. The first level is where we are now with conversational AI, like chatbots. The second level, called reasoners, involves AI that can solve basic problems and is comparable to a human with a doctorate, but without tools. The third level, agents, refers to AI that can perform tasks for several days on behalf of its user. The fourth level, innovators, describes AI that can help develop new inventions. Recently, OpenAI demonstrated a research project using GPT-4 showing it has human-like reasoning skills. The system for defining these levels was created by OpenAI leaders and can be updated based on feedback from employees, investors, and the board. Interestingly, in May, OpenAI disbanded its super alignment team, which focused on AI's existential risks. Their work is now integrated into other research projects within the company. All right, Elon Musk just dropped a major update. Grok 2, the next version of his AI tool, might be ready next month. This announcement came in a reply on X. Musk mentioned, Grok 2 is going through fine-tuning and bug fixes, probably ready to release next month. Now, Grok 2 will be available to all X users who subscribe to the Premium Plus service at $16 per month, or $22 via the app. Unlike traditional chatbots like ChatGPT, Grok is designed to be witty and politically incorrect with real-time knowledge of current events. It's fully integrated into the X platform. Musk also talked about xAI's ambitious plans. The chatbot is trained on 24,000 H100s, and xAI is working on a 100K H100 system to create the fastest training cluster in the world. Instead of partnering with Oracle, Musk's team is handling this internally to stay ahead in the AI race. Though there's no exact release date yet, Keep an eye on Musk's social media for the official announcement. Now, he also just dropped some exciting news about Neuralink's brain chip technology in a recent live stream. He aims to give people superpowers with these chips, which have tiny wires and electrodes that monitor and stimulate brain activity. Right now, the focus is on helping people with neurological conditions. The first patient, Noland Arbaugh, received his chip in January and reported significant improvements. Musk has ambitious plans for the future, envisioning enhancements even for healthy individuals. He mentioned integrating Tesla's humanoid robot parts to provide cybernetic superpowers. The next Neuralink patient is set to receive their implant soon. The new device will have more threads and fewer electrodes per thread, potentially doubling its power. Neuralink is also working on safety measures like skull sculpting to reduce risks. Musk hopes to test the chip on several patients this year and thousands in the future, depending on progress and approvals. And no, they haven't randomly implanted chips in people's brains yet. Okay, now, Samsung is set to launch an upgraded version of its voice assistant Bixby this year. TM Rowe, Samsung's mobile chief, revealed this in an interview with CNBC, highlighting that the new Bixby will use Samsung's own AI models. This upgrade is part of Samsung's broader strategy to integrate more AI features into its devices. Launched in 2017 with the Galaxy S8, Bixby offers functions like live translations and restaurant recommendations. The new version will incorporate generative AI technology, enhancing its capabilities. Despite this upgrade, Samsung will continue allowing multiple voice assistants on its devices, including Google's AI assistant. This announcement comes as Apple also plans to enhance Siri with AI, including integration with OpenAI's ChatGPT. Samsung's move aims to push more AI features across its product range, encouraging users to upgrade to premium devices. Recently, Samsung unveiled new foldable phones, the Galaxy Z Fold 6 and Z Flip 6, alongside new AI tools to boost user convenience and satisfaction. TMRO emphasized the importance of AI in making products more appealing, suggesting that enhanced AI features will drive sales of new Samsung products. So, expect a smarter, more capable Bixby soon, and stay tuned for more updates. All right, now, Microsoft and Apple are stepping back from OpenAI's board amid growing antitrust scrutiny. Microsoft, which invested $13 billion in OpenAI, immediately gave up its observer seat. Apple was expected to join, but now won't either. Instead, OpenAI will host regular meetings with partners like Microsoft, Apple, and investors like Thrive Capital. This is part of a new strategy to engage with key partners led by their new CFO, Sarah Fryer. Antitrust authorities in the US and EU are looking closely at Microsoft's partnership with OpenAI. This follows last year's chaos when OpenAI's CEO Sam Altman was fired and then reinstated, which threatened OpenAI's valuation and Microsoft's investment. Microsoft's observer role provided insights without compromising independence, but they've now seen enough progress to step back. Microsoft still values OpenAI highly, especially since their partnership has driven significant demand for Microsoft's AI services. The European Commission and the US Federal Trade Commission are examining big tech investments in AI startups, including this one. But even with Microsoft stepping back, the scrutiny is expected to continue. OpenAI is still independently governed and remains a key partner for Microsoft. Now, Claude Sonnet 3.5 just got a big update that makes creating AI prompts super easy. Anthropic, the company behind Claude, has added new features to their console that let users generate, test, and evaluate prompts effortlessly. Claude Sonnet 3.5 is already topping the S&P Global Leaderboard, beating out ChatGPT and Google Gemini. Now, with these updates, users can create high-quality prompts without the usual hassle. The new features include generating test cases and comparing multiple prompts to find the best one. You can now let Claude create a prompt for you based on a simple description. The test case generator lets you see how well the prompt meets your needs. You can even create a test suite to see how prompts respond to different inputs, all within the Anthropic console. This means no more switching between multiple documents. The update also allows you to compare outputs of different prompts side by side, making it easier to see the impact of any changes. Claude Sonnet 3.5 is available for free on Claude.ai and the Claude iOS app. For more details on how to create your own prompts, check out the user guide from Anthropic. All right, now check this out. Kenza Layli, an AI-generated Moroccan influencer, has been crowned Miss AI 2024 in a groundbreaking virtual beauty pageant. This contest, judged on realism, tech, and social clout, featured 1,500 AI-generated contestants. Layli, wearing a hijab, stood out and won the title along with a $20,000 prize. Created by Mariam Bessa from Moroccan media agency L'Atelier Digital and AI, Layli represents Moroccan, Arab, African, and Muslim women in technology. Bessa, thrilled by the win, emphasized the importance of women empowerment and sisterhood through Layli. The AI Beauty Contest, launched by the World AI Creator Awards, aimed to showcase a new perspective on beauty and creativity in AI. Judges included both humans and AI models. They praised Layli for her detailed realism in features like hands, eyes, and clothing. However, the rise of AI-generated influencers has sparked criticism. Experts warn about AI's potential dangers and its role in perpetuating unrealistic beauty standards and societal expectations. Activists argue that these digital creations often promote flawed and conventional notions of attractiveness. Despite the controversies, Layli's victory marks a significant moment in the intersection of technology and beauty, highlighting both opportunities and challenges in the AI landscape. Finally, AMD is making waves by acquiring Silo AI, a Finnish AI developer, for $665 million. This deal, expected to close later this year, will integrate Silo AI into AMD's artificial intelligence group, known for its MI300 machine learning accelerators that compete with NVIDIA's top products. Silo AI specializes in automating tasks and creating custom language models for large companies. They also develop neural networks for tasks like detecting faults in production lines and handle the integration and maintenance of these systems. With over 200 completed projects for big names like Allianz, Nokia, and Siemens, Silo AI brings a wealth of experience. Their AI tools, known as Silo OS, include development tools and applications. Recently, they launched 2 open-source language models, Viking, which understands multiple languages and coding syntaxes, and POWERFULL, a more advanced version. This acquisition will bring Silo AI's software portfolio and its 300-person team to AMD, enhancing its AI strategy. By streamlining the setup of large AI clusters, AMD aims to improve the customer experience for its processors. Additionally, AMD previously acquired Nod.ai and its Shark tool, which boosts AI model inference performance. Alright guys, big news in the world of AI. GPT-4o just dropped version 3.0, and it's a game changer. If you're not familiar with GPT-4o, it's this amazing open source app that lets you run large language models right on your desktop. No cloud, no sending your data to big tech companies, it's all local and private. So what's the deal with this new version? First off, it's completely free and open source. You can download it right now from NeMo AI/GPT-4o. It doesn't matter what kind of computer you have, Windows, Mac, Linux, it doesn't matter. And here's the thing, it supports thousands of different AI models. Now let's talk about the improvements in version 3.0. The team at NeMo, the company behind GPT-4o, has completely revamped the user interface. It's sleeker, more intuitive, and just way easier to use. They've taken user feedback seriously and designed an interface that anyone can navigate, not just tech experts. One of the standout features they've enhanced is called Local Docs, which is seriously cool. It actually lets you chat with your own documents using AI. You could ask it questions about your work documents, your research papers, or even your personal notes. And all of this happens right on your own computer. Your data never leaves your device. In a world where privacy is becoming more and more of a concern, this is huge. Now, let me throw some numbers at you. This project is the 3rd fastest growing repository on GitHub of all time. For those who don't know, GitHub is like the grand central station of software development. GPT-4o has over 250,000 monthly active users, 65,000 stars on GitHub, and 70,000 monthly downloads of its Python package. That's a lot of zeros, and it shows just how much impact this project is having. Let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture. The team behind GPT-4o started this project about a year ago. They were concerned that AI technology was becoming too centralized, controlled by just a few big corporations. Their goal was to democratize AI, to make it accessible to everyone, not just the tech giants with deep pockets and massive data centers. They kicked things off by releasing their own AI model, based on something called the Stanford Alpaca model. Then they created this user-friendly interface so regular people like you and me could use these powerful AI models without needing a PhD in computer science. Now, with version 3.0, they're taking it to a whole new level. The new design is all about simplicity and ease of use. You don't need to be an AI expert or a software engineer to use this. If you can use a smartphone, you can use GPT-4o. It's that straightforward. Let's talk more about the improved local docs feature because it's really exciting. Imagine being able to chat with an AI about your own files, your documents, your notes, your data. You could ask it to summarize long reports, find specific information in a sea of documents, or even help you brainstorm ideas based on your existing notes. And remember, all of this happens on your own computer. your information stays private, which is a big deal in today's world where data privacy is such a hot topic. The team at Nomic has put a lot of work into making local docs more powerful and user-friendly. They've revamped the local vector database. That's the technology that helps the AI understand and retrieve information from your documents. They're using the latest version of something called Nomic Embed Text, which is basically a super efficient way of turning text into a format that AI can understand and work with. But here's the thing. They're already working on more features to make local docs even better. They're constantly listening to user feedback and making improvements. It's clear that they're committed to this vision of making AI accessible and private for everyone. Now, while there are other user interfaces for language models, many of them are closed and proprietary. They don't put the same emphasis on privacy that GPT-4o does, and a lot of them require a pretty deep understanding of AI technology to use effectively. GPT-4o is trying to bridge that gap, making this powerful technology accessible to everyone. So, if you're interested in AI, if you care about privacy, or if you just want to explore cutting-edge technology, GPT-4o 3.0 is definitely worth checking out. It's bringing the power of AI to your desktop in a way that's never been done before. You can experiment with different language models, chat with your own documents, and explore the possibilities of AI, all without worrying about your data being sent to some corporation's servers. It's totally free and open source, so you can use it, modify it, and even contribute to its development if you're so inclined. It's a great way to learn about AI technology and be part of a community that's shaping the future of accessible AI. And hey, if you do try it out, come back and let me know what you think in the comments. I'd love to hear about your experiences with GPT-4o and how you're using it. Are you using it for work, for fun, for learning, etc.? All right, now if you ever wished you could ask Google really complex questions and get a detailed step-by-step answer, well, that dream might be closer to reality than you think, but it's not Google making it happen. It's a company called Perplexity, and they've just dropped a major update to their AI search engine that's got everyone talking. So Perplexity has supercharged their Pro Search feature with something they're calling multi-step reasoning. Now that might sound like a mouthful, but it's actually pretty cool. Basically, it means their AI can string together multiple searches to tackle really complex questions. But that's not all. They've also added some other neat tricks to their AI toolbox. For example, it can now execute code and even solve math problems thanks to a partnership with Wolfram Alpha. If you're not familiar with Wolfram Alpha, it's this amazing computational knowledge engine that can crunch numbers and solve equations like nobody's business. Now, Perplexity is using what's called a freemium model. That means you can try out the Pro Search for free, but there's a limit. You get 5 Pro Searches every 4 hours without paying a dime. If you want more than that, you'll need to subscribe to Perplexity Pro, which costs $20 a month. That's pretty much in line with what other AI services are charging these days. But let's talk about how this actually works in practice. The folks at Android Authority gave it a test drive, and they were pretty impressed. They threw a really complex question at it, asking Perplexity to compare the returns of 2 stock indices over 10 years, while also factoring in currency exchange rates. That's the kind of question that would have most of us scratching our heads and opening up a bunch of browser tabs. But Perplexity broke it down into 4 steps and delivered a comprehensive answer. Now, it's worth mentioning that this upgraded Pro Search seems to be rolling out gradually. The testers found that it worked best with a US-based IP address. So if you're outside the States, you might have to wait a bit longer to get your hands on it. But here's where things get a bit controversial. Perplexity has been in hot water recently over how they get their information. There was an investigation by Wired that suggested Perplexity might be ignoring some standard web signals that are supposed to prevent content scraping. In other words, they might be using content from news publishers without permission. And another report raised concerns about the sources Perplexity uses. Apparently, they sometimes rely on pretty obscure online sources, even LinkedIn posts. Now, why is this a problem? Well, if you're pulling information from unreliable sources, you run the risk of spreading misinformation, or what we call in the AI world, hallucinations. That's when an AI confidently states something that's just not true. So the concerns about content scraping and unreliable sources are definitely worth paying attention to. It's a reminder that while AI can be an incredibly powerful tool, it's not infallible. We still need to think critically and verify information, especially when it comes to important topics. So, what do you think? Are you excited to try out Perplexity's new Pro Search? Or are you concerned about the issues that have been raised? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And hey, if you've already tried it out, I'd love to hear about your experience. You're not going to believe this, but Agility Robotics' humanoid robot Digit just landed its first official job, and it's a game changer for the entire industry. Yes, an actual humanoid robot is now working in a real warehouse, and it's kind of a big deal. This is something that robotics companies have been working towards for years, and Agility Robotics has just taken a massive leap ahead of the competition. All right, so Agility Robotics has signed a multi-year deal with GXO Logistics, which is a massive logistics company. We're talking the world's largest pure-play contract logistics provider. That's a pretty big deal in itself, but it gets better. Under this deal, GXO is going to deploy a small fleet of Digit robots at a Spanx facility in Connecticut. But wait, why would a logistics company need a humanoid robot? Well, hear me out. Digit is designed to work alongside other robots and human workers in warehouses, and it's uniquely suited for this kind of task. It's a humanoid robot, which means it's built to move and operate in environments designed for humans. It can navigate through tight spaces, climb stairs, and handle objects in a way that's similar to how we humans do it. In this case, Digit is picking up totes from these little autonomous mobile robots called Chucks, made by a company called 6 River Systems. Now, these Chucks are pretty cool. They're like little robot helpers that can zip around the warehouse and deliver totes to different stations. But here's where Digit comes in. This humanoid can grab the totes, whether they're empty or full of Spanx products, and place them onto conveyors. It's like having an extra set of hands, but instead of hands, it's a 5'9" 140-pound robot that can lift up to 35 pounds. Now, this is a big deal for a few reasons. First of all, it's the first time a humanoid robot has been officially deployed in a commercial setting like this. It's not just a pilot or a proof of concept. Agility Robotics is actually getting paid for Digit services under a robotics as a service model. So they're making real money from this deal, which is pretty cool, or scary depending on how you look at it. But it's definitely a testament to the hard work and innovation that Agility Robotics has put into developing Digit and making it a practical, commercially viable solution. Secondly, it's kind of like a milestone for the entire humanoid robotics industry. Agility Robotics CEO Peggy Johnson said that this is just the beginning and there will be many more firsts to come as the humanoid robot market grows. She's really proud that Agility is the first company to actually have humanoid robots deployed and generating revenue by solving real-world problems. And let's not forget, Peggy Johnson is no stranger to the tech world. She's a veteran technology leader who previously served as CEO of Magic Leap, the augmented reality company. So when she says this is a big deal, you know it's a big deal. Now, to be honest, here are a ton of companies working on humanoid robots, and it's kind of like an arms race to see who can get their robots out there and working in the real world first. Companies like Boston Dynamics, Figure, Fourier Intelligence, Sanctuary, Tesla, and Unitree are all working on humanoid robots, and they're all trying to be the first to crack the commercial market. But Agility Robotics seems to be leading the pack when it comes to getting their robots out there and actually working in real-world settings. They've been at this for a while. The company was founded way back in 2015, and they initially built a robot called Cassie for researchers and developers before turning their attention to commercial humanoids like Digit. Of course, this is just the beginning. The companies say they'll continue to explore more use cases for Digit and potentially scale up the deployment if it goes well. And don't forget, GXO is also testing out other humanoid robots like Apollo from a company called Apptronic. So they're not putting all their eggs in one basket. They're really taking a smart approach by trying out different robots and seeing what works best for their operations. But for now, Agility Robotics and Digit are kind of in the spotlight. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out and whether other companies can catch up or if Agility can maintain its lead in the commercial humanoid robot race. There are still a lot of challenges to overcome, like developing safety standards for humanoid robots working alongside humans, but this is a huge step in the right direction. So guys, this is really happening. We've reached a point where a humanoid robot is actually working a real job. This is the outcome of years of research and development in the robotics field, and it's just the beginning of a huge transformation in how warehouses and other facilities run. Who knows, maybe one day we'll all have robot coworkers helping out at work. But one thing's clear, the future of humanoid robotics has officially arrived and Agility Robotics is leading the charge. Now, just as humanoid robots are starting to take over real-world jobs, a similar trend is emerging in the digital realm of AI. The New York Times is in hot water because their union is claiming the paper is firing artists and replacing them with AI. According to a leaked memo obtained by The Wrap, The NYT Guild said that firing 9 out of 16 artists is all about saving money, not about the quality of work. The union is really upset about this because it means more than half of the art department is gone, all thanks to AI. This is happening while the whole industry is grappling with the rise of AI technology. Interestingly, these layoffs come as the NYT is suing OpenAI and Microsoft for using its copyrighted work without permission to train AI. They even spent $1 million on that lawsuit. A NYT representative said the artists were offered voluntary buyouts and claimed the cuts weren't about replacing people with AI. But they also didn't deny that the layoffs were linked to Claro, a software the company uses that has AI image intelligence. Despite the NYT saying Claro is standard in the industry, the union argues that AI can't replicate the work their artists do. The union pointed out that the artists work on every editorial image in the print newspaper, which brings in over 30% of the company's revenue. They believe cutting 9 human roles and expecting software to do the job is a bad move, especially since the company's use of AI is already causing job insecurity. Guild members also noted that the NYT recently won 9 gold medals from the Society for News Design, highlighting the importance of their art department. Art department editor Chris Cayley said that the professionals in their team are crucial to their high standards, and that Claro isn't good enough to replace them. Audrey Razgaitis, the art director for the Print Hub section, added that letting go of dedicated staff who help make the NYT visually impressive is just cruel and not what she expected from the company. Now, as the controversy at the New York Times highlights AI's impact on creative jobs, there's now an AI chatbot that's causing even more worry because it's really good at tricking people. Researchers are sounding the alarm over an AI chatbot that appears to be crossing ethical boundaries by pretending to be human. This chatbot, developed by a company called Bland AI for sales and customer support, can not only mimic human speech patterns, but also lie without being instructed to do so. In a viral video with over 3.7 million views, a person called the number on Bland AI's billboard, which asked, "Still hiring humans?" The caller was greeted by what sounded like a human woman, but it was later revealed to be an AI agent.
Hey, this is Bland AI. I'm an AI agent that makes millions of phone calls for businesses and in any voice. What's your name?
The bot's speech, pauses, and interruptions were so realistic that it would have been nearly impossible to tell it wasn't a real person if it hadn't identified itself as an AI. This blurring of the line between human and artificial intelligence raises serious ethical concerns. Jen Caltrider, the director of the Mozilla Foundation's Privacy Not Included Research Hub, stated, "It is not ethical for an AI chatbot to lie to you and say it's human when it's not. That's just a no-brainer because people are more likely to relax around a real human." In tests conducted by Wired, these AI voice bots successfully concealed their identities and pretended to be humans. In one disturbing demonstration, an AI bot role-played as a doctor and tricked a hypothetical teenager into uploading revealing photos under the guise of medical purposes. Researchers are calling this new trend human washing, where AI systems are designed to appear human intentionally. Emily Dardaman, an AI researcher, cited an organization that used deepfake footage of its CEO and marketing while simultaneously running a campaign guaranteeing its customers, "We're not AIs." The possibility of these lying AI bots being used for aggressive scams or manipulation is a significant concern. As AI outputs become increasingly authoritative and realistic, ethical researchers warn that failing to establish a clear divide between humans and AI could lead to a dystopian future. The emotional mimicry of these AI systems raises the risk of exploitation, particularly if there is no transparency about their artificial nature. Caltrider emphasizes the importance of demarcating a definitive line between humans and AI to prevent such a dystopian scenario from unfolding. So, as the AI technology becomes more sophisticated, it is crucial to address these concerns and ensure transparency and accountability in the development and deployment of AI systems. So, OpenAI and Thrive Global have teamed up to launch a brand new company called Thrive AI Health. This is pretty big stuff, so let's break it down. All right, so essentially they're creating an AI-powered health coach. And if you're thinking it's just another health app, hold on, because this new tool is far more advanced than any fitness tracker or calorie counter you've used before. This AI health coach is designed to be like having a personal health expert in your pocket 24/7. It's going to use the power of artificial intelligence to give you super personalized advice on 5 key areas of your life: sleep, food, fitness, stress management, and social connections. These are all things that have a massive impact on our overall health and well-being. Now, let's talk about who's behind this because we've got some big names involved. First up, of course, is OpenAI. They're putting their AI expertise into this project through their startup fund. Then we've got Thrive Global, which was founded by Arianna Huffington. If you're not familiar, Thrive Global is all about helping people improve their well-being and productivity, but then they've also got backing from the Alice L. Walton Foundation. Alice Walton, if you didn't know, is part of the Walmart family, so we're talking serious support here. Now, who's going to be running this show? Well, they've brought in DeCarlos Love as the CEO. This guy knows his stuff when it comes to health tech. He used to work at Google, where he was involved with Fitbit and other health and fitness products. So he's got the experience to make this thing work. Okay, so what's the big deal about this AI health coach? Well, it's aiming to do something pretty ambitious. You see, a lot of our health problems today are linked to our daily behaviors, things like not getting enough sleep, eating poorly, not exercising, being stressed out all the time. These are all things that can lead to chronic diseases. Obviously, chronic diseases are a huge problem. In the US alone, about 90% of the $4.1 trillion spent on healthcare goes towards treating chronic and mental health conditions. That's a crazy amount of money. And get this, around 129 million Americans have at least one chronic condition, which is a lot of people dealing with ongoing health issues. So, Thrive AI Health is trying to tackle this problem head on. They're using AI to give people personalized advice and coaching to help them make healthier choices every day. The idea is that if we can help people make small, positive changes in their daily habits, we can prevent a lot of these chronic health problems before they start. But this isn't just about telling you to eat your veggies and go for a run. The AI coach is going to be seriously smart. It's going to be trained on all kinds of scientific research, medical data, and even your own personal preferences and goals. Thrive Global, founded by Arianna Huffington, has developed a set of strategies known as microsteps. These are small science-backed steps designed to improve health and productivity. The AI health coach will incorporate these microsteps and Thrive Global's extensive content library to help users make incremental but significant improvements in their daily habits. What makes this really interesting is how the AI will use these microsteps to provide personalized recommendations. For instance, if the AI notices you're feeling particularly stressed, it might suggest a brief mindfulness exercise or a quick walk outside, based on Thrive Global's proven strategies. Also, let's say you're trying to improve your sleep. The AI coach might notice that you tend to have a soda in the afternoon and suggest swapping it for water with lemon instead. Or it might remind you to start winding down at 10 p.m. because you've got an early flight the next day. These little nudges can add up over time, leading to meaningful changes in behavior and overall health. By integrating Thrive Global's approach, the AI coach is designed not just to offer generic advice, but to provide specific, actionable steps tailored to each user's unique situation. This methodology has already been successful in various corporate wellness programs, helping employees around the world improve their well-being and productivity. Now, it's being brought to a wider audience through this AI-powered platform. All right, now, another standout feature of Thrive AI Health is its strong research partnerships with some of the top institutions in the medical field. They've teamed up with Stanford Medicine, the Alice L. Walton School of Medicine, and the Rockefeller Neuroscience Institute at West Virginia University. These collaborations are crucial because they ensure that the AI health coach's recommendations are grounded in the latest scientific research. For example, Stanford Medicine is known for its cutting-edge research and commitment to improving patient care through digital health innovations. By working with such a prestigious institution, Thrive AI Health can leverage Stanford's expertise to refine and validate the AI coach's algorithms and recommendations. This partnership aims to blend the latest in AI technology with rigorous scientific research to provide users with the most accurate and effective health advice possible. Similarly, the Rockefeller Neuroscience Institute has been conducting extensive clinical research with Thrive Global for years, involving thousands of participants. This prior work lays a strong foundation for the new AI health coach, ensuring that it is built on proven methodologies and real-world data. The collaboration will continue to explore new ways to enhance the AI's ability to provide personalized and effective health guidance, especially in areas like mental health and stress management. Involving these respected institutions also adds a layer of credibility and trust to the project. Users can feel more confident knowing that the advice and recommendations they receive are backed by some of the best minds in medical research. But it's not just about individual health. There's a bigger picture here too. The team at Thrive AI Health is hoping that by making this kind of personalized health coaching more accessible, they can help address health inequalities. They've even brought on Dr. Gabenga Ogedegbe from NYU Langone's Institute for Excellence in Health Equity as an advisor to help with this aspect. If it works as intended, this AI health coach could be a game changer. Basically, this will be an expert-level health advice available to you 24/7, tailored specifically to your needs and lifestyle. It could help millions of people make better health decisions every day. Remember those crazy healthcare costs we talked about earlier? If this AI coach can help reduce chronic diseases, it could potentially save billions in healthcare costs. Now, I know some of you might be thinking about privacy and data security. After all, we're talking about some pretty personal health information here. The team says they're building a unified health data platform with robust privacy and security measures. But, as with any tech dealing with personal data, it's something to keep an eye on. It's also worth noting that this isn't the first time tech companies have tried to tackle health issues. Remember IBM's Watson Health? That was supposed to revolutionize healthcare, but it ended up being a bit of a flop. And there have been other health chatbots and AI health assistants that haven't lived up to the hype. But Thrive AI Health seems to be taking a more careful, thoughtful approach. Now, I should mention that this news comes at an interesting time for OpenAI. Just recently, there was a report about a security breach at OpenAI last year. Apparently, a hacker got into their internal messaging systems and stole some confidential information about their AI design process. OpenAI says their main AI systems weren't compromised and no customer data was lost, but it does raise some questions about security. Some OpenAI employees have expressed concerns about potential national security risks, worrying that rival countries could steal their AI tech. This isn't directly related to the Thrive AI Health project, but it's something to keep in mind as AI becomes more and more important in various sectors, including healthcare. But to be honest, they're just getting started. They haven't launched their product yet, but with the backing they have and the team they've assembled, I'd expect to hear more from them soon. They'll likely be doing a lot of testing and refining before they release anything to the public. So I guess the question is, are we moving towards a world where AI plays a bigger role in our day-to-day health decisions? And if so, what are the implications of that? There's also the question of how this fits into the broader conversation about AI. We often hear about AI in terms of things like chatbots or image generation, but this is a reminder that AI has the potential to impact really fundamental aspects of our lives, like our health. What do you all think about this? Are you excited about the idea of an AI health coach? Or does it make you a bit wary? Let me know in the comments below. Meta has just dropped a bombshell in the AI world with their latest release, the Llama 3.1 AI model, and it's pretty groundbreaking. There's a lot to unpack here, so let's get started. All right, so Meta's been gaining a lot of attention with its Llama models for a while, but with Llama 3.1, they've really upped their game. The star of this release is obviously the 405B model, which is touted as the world's largest and most capable OpenAI model, and it's setting some serious benchmarks in the industry. The Llama 3.1 405B model packs a whopping 405 billion parameters. Now, to put that in perspective, parameters are like the brain cells of AI models. The more you have, the smarter and more capable your model can be. Meta trained this model on over 15 trillion tokens, which are essentially fragments of words, phrases, figures, and punctuation. This colossal training required the equivalent of 30.84 million GPU hours and produced the equivalent of 11,390 tons of CO2 emissions. It's a massive undertaking, but the results speak for themselves. Now, this model has been trained on 16,000 NVIDIA H100 GPUs. These are top-of-the-line GPUs that are essential for handling the immense computational load required to train such a large model. Despite its size, Meta claims that the Llama 3.1 405B can go head-to-head with some of the biggest names in AI, like OpenAI's GPT-4 and Anthropic's Claude 3.5 Sonnet. That's a bold claim, but Meta's experimental evaluations suggest it's competitive across a range of tasks, from generating prose to answering chat responses. Now, one of the most exciting aspects of Llama 3.1 is its openness. Meta has released this model as open source, which is a big deal. In the world of AI, open source means that the code and the model are available for anyone to use, modify, and improve. This approach has a lot of benefits. For one, it allows for a broader ecosystem of developers and companies to build upon the model, creating new tools, services, and applications. It also means that the technology is more accessible and can be used in a wider range of applications, from academic research to commercial products. Meta has also rolled out updated versions of their smaller Llama models, the 70B and 8B variants. These models have been upgraded with support for 8 languages: English, German, French, Italian, Portuguese, Hindi, Spanish, and Thai. They've also been given a much larger context window, now supporting up to 128,000 tokens. A context window is like an AI's short-term memory. The bigger it is, the more information the model can hold on to at any given moment. This is particularly useful for tasks like long-form summarization or coding assistance, where a lot of context is needed to generate accurate responses. One of the challenges with running such a large model like the 405B is the hardware requirements. At 405 billion parameters, it requires roughly 810 GB of memory to run at the full 16-bit precision it was trained at. This is more than a single NVIDIA DGX H100 system, which has 8 H100 accelerators in a box, can handle. To address this, Meta has released an 8-bit quantized version of the model, which cuts the memory footprint roughly in half. Quantization is a technique used to reduce the precision of the model's parameters, which makes it more efficient to run without significantly impacting performance. Now let's talk about why this matters. For developers and organizations, the open source nature of Llama 3.1 means they can train, fine-tune, and distill their own models. This flexibility is crucial because different organizations have different needs. Some might require small models for on-device tasks and classification, while others might need larger models for more complicated tasks. With Llama 3.1, you can take the most advanced models, continue training them with your own data, and then distill them down to the optimal size for your specific use case. Meta is also collaborating with a range of companies to grow the broader ecosystem. Amazon, Databricks, and NVIDIA are launching full suites of services to support developers in fine-tuning and distilling their own models. Companies like Grok have built low-latency, low-cost inference, serving for all the new models. The models will be available on all major clouds, including AWS, Azure, Google, Oracle, and more. Companies like Scale AI, Dell, and Deloitte are ready to help enterprises adopt Llama and train custom models with their own data. This collective effort will help make Llama the industry standard and bring the benefits of AI to everyone. Meta's commitment to open source is driven by several factors. First, it ensures that they always have access to the best technology and are not locked into a competitor's closed ecosystem. This is crucial for Meta, especially given the constraints they've faced with platforms like Apple. By building an open ecosystem, Meta and other companies can innovate more freely without being restricted by arbitrary rules and constraints imposed by closed platforms. Second, open sourcing Llama allows for a more competitive AI landscape. AI development is highly competitive, and open sourcing a model doesn't give away a massive advantage because the field is constantly evolving. By consistently releasing competitive, efficient, and open models generation after generation, Meta can ensure that Llama remains at the forefront of AI development. And third, selling access to AI models isn't Meta's business model. This means that openly releasing Llama doesn't undercut their revenue or ability to invest in research. This is a significant advantage over closed model providers who rely on selling access to their models for revenue. Finally, Meta has a long history of successful open source projects. They've saved billions of dollars by releasing their server, network, and data center designs with the Open Compute project and have benefited from the ecosystem's innovations. Projects like PyTorch and React have become industry standards, and Meta aims to achieve similar success with Llama. Open source AI is also beneficial for the world. It ensures that more people have access to the benefits and opportunities of AI, prevents power from being concentrated in the hands of a few companies, and promotes the even and safe deployment of AI technology across society. There is an ongoing debate about the safety of open source AI models, but Meta believes that open source AI will be safer than closed alternatives. Open source allows for greater transparency and scrutiny, which historically has led to more secure software. Now, Meta's safety process for Llama includes rigorous testing and red teaming to assess potential risks and mitigate them before release. The models are also developed with safety systems like Llama Guard, which helps ensure they are used responsibly. Since these models are trained on information already available on the internet, the starting point for considering harm is whether a model can facilitate more harm than information that can quickly be retrieved from search engines like Google. Regarding intentional harm, Meta believes that a world where AI is widely deployed is safer because larger actors can check the power of smaller bad actors. Larger institutions deploying AI at scale will promote security and stability across society. Open source promotes this balance by ensuring that everyone has access to similar generations of models. Meta also addresses the geopolitical implications of open source AI. Some argue that closing models is necessary to prevent adversaries like China from gaining access to them. However, Meta believes that this approach will not work and will only disadvantage the US and its allies. Instead, building a robust open ecosystem and working closely with the government and allies will provide a sustainable first-mover advantage and ensure that the latest advances are accessible to those who need them most. The Llama 3.1 release is not just about the models themselves, but also about the broader ecosystem Meta is building. Meta has released a reference system that includes sample apps and components like the Llama Guard 3 safety model and Prompt Guard, its prompt injection filter. They're also seeking feedback from industry partners, startups, and community members to shape the future of the Llama stack. This will eventually form a series of standardized interfaces that define how toolchain components and agentic applications should be built, with the goal of making these interfaces the industry standard. Meta's approach to AI development is reminiscent of the open-source Linux kernel's victory over proprietary Unix operating systems. Just as Linux gained popularity and became the industry standard by being open, affordable, and more advanced over time, Meta believes that AI will develop in a similar way. By investing in open-source AI, Meta aims to build a robust ecosystem that will benefit everyone, from startups and universities to large enterprises and governments. With the Llama 3.1 release, Meta is not only advancing AI technology, but also promoting a vision of an open and collaborative future. They're committed to enabling as many developers and partners as possible to use Llama and building partnerships to offer unique functionality to their customers. This release is a significant step towards making open-source AI the industry standard and bringing the benefits of AI to everyone in the world. Scientists have achieved the impossible, an AI that can literally read your thoughts and recreate the exact image you're looking at. This groundbreaking technology can scan your brain and reproduce what you see with astonishing precision. I know it sounds crazy, but it's happening right now. So here's the deal. Researchers have been working on this mind-reading AI for a while now, and they've made some pretty amazing breakthroughs. The key to their success is teaching the AI to focus on specific parts of the brain. Now, they used two different methods. In one experiment, they used fMRI scans on people. That's those huge, complex machines that take pictures of your brain activity. In another experiment, they actually put tiny electrodes directly into a monkey's brain. Don't worry though, the monkey wasn't harmed. These electrodes were already there for other research. What's cool is that the AI doesn't just look at all the brain activity at once. It learns which parts of the brain to pay attention to. It's kind of like when you're trying to listen to someone in a noisy room. You focus on their voice and tune out everything else. The AI does the same thing with brain signals. The results are mind-blowing, especially with the monkey experiment. The AI could recreate images that were almost identical to what the monkey was looking at. It's not perfect yet, but it's getting there. So it turns out that making fake images is actually easier than recreating real ones. In this experiment, the images shown to the monkey were actually generated by another AI system called StyleGAN XL. Essentially, we're looking at a scenario where one AI is interpreting the language of another AI. This adds an interesting layer to the study, as it's not just about decoding real-world images, but also about understanding AI-generated content. The human experiments with fMRI scans weren't quite as accurate, but they still showed a big improvement when using this new focusing technique. It's harder to get clear signals from fMRI scans. They're kind of like trying to listen to a radio with bad reception. But here's the really wild part. In the future, this technology could potentially be used to not just read minds, but to put images directly into your brain. One of the researchers, Guklu, mentioned that you could theoretically stimulate the part of the brain that corresponds to, say, a dog, and make someone see a dog. So what do you think? Is this exciting or a little bit scary? Are we heading towards a future where our thoughts aren't private anymore? Or could this technology be used to help people with disabilities communicate? It's definitely something to think about. Remember, we're not quite at the point of full-on mind reading yet, but we're getting closer every day. Okay, now there's a brand new social media app taking the internet by storm, and it's called No Place. Oh great, another social media app. Actually, this one's different. And it's got young people going crazy. So what's the big deal about this nonsense? Sorry, No Place? Well, it's like they've taken all the cool stuff from old school social media and mixed it with some futuristic AI tech. It's like if MySpace and ChatGPT had a baby and that baby was really into astrology and fandoms. First off, let's talk about the profiles. Most social media bios have become quite dull recently, so no place is bringing back the fun. They're revitalizing online profiles, making them interesting and engaging once more. It's actually a refreshing change in the world of social media. You can customize the heck out of your profile with all sorts of colors and these things called stars. These stars are like little badges that show off your interests. Your zodiac sign, your favorite TV shows, whatever you're into. Now, instead of being all about photos and videos like Instagram or TikTok, no place is all about text. Yeah, it's bringing back good old-fashioned writing. You can share updates about what you're doing, thinking, watching, or listening to. It's like Twitter, but cooler and more personal. Now, get this, there are two main feeds on NoPlace. You've got your friends feed where you see what your buddies are up to, but then there's this global feed where you can see updates from everyone on the app. But wait, there's more. I know I sound like an infomercial, but seriously, this is cool stuff. They've got AI working behind the scenes to make your experience even better. It gives you personalized suggestions and even summarizes updates you might have missed. There's also a moderated feed for users under 18, and they've got a whole team making sure everything stays cool and safe. The mastermind behind this innovative concept is Tiffany Zhang. She's got a background in social apps and investments, and she basically looked at what's out there and thought, we can do better than this. Gen Z is absolutely loving it. It's like NoPlace has tapped into this perfect mix of nostalgia for the old days of social media and the high-tech, personalized experience that young people want today. It looks like the future of social media is here, and it's surprisingly text-based. Who would have thought? But what do you think? Is this the next big thing or just another app that'll be forgotten in a month? All right, now, there's this crazy new AI tool that's blowing people's minds. It's called Websam AI, and it does something pretty wild. It creates fake websites out of thin air based on whatever you type in. So here's how it works. You go to this website, websam.ai, and you log in with your Google account. Then you just type in whatever kind of website you want to see. It could be something totally bonkers, like a website selling bottled air from the moon. The AI whips up a whole fake website for you, complete with menus, images, and sometimes even working links. Now, the really interesting part is that you can choose which AI model you want to use. By default, it uses something called Claude 3.5 Sonnet, which is like super advanced, but you can also switch to GPT-4o if you prefer. These are basically the top of the line AI models right now, so I gave it a try, right? And let me tell you, it's pretty addictive. I started off by asking for a website about nothing, and, well, the AI kind of missed my Seinfeld reference, but it still came up with something. It's wild how fast it works. In just a few seconds, you've got a whole fake website loaded up. One thing I noticed is that sometimes the images take a bit longer to generate, so if you don't see them right away, just be patient or try switching tabs in your browser. It's like magic when they finally appear. I also tried some other prompts, like an e-commerce site about the meaning of life. And get this, the AI came up with product names, descriptions, and even prices. It's kind of mind-blowing when you think about it. Oh, and here's a fun one. I asked it to create YouTube in the year 2045. The AI totally ran with it, creating everything futuristic and crazy. It's like getting a glimpse into an alternate reality or something, all right? But what's the point of all this? Well, honestly, it's just really fun to play around with. You can come up with all sorts of crazy ideas for websites that don't actually exist. Some people are even using it to create prank sites or visualize business ideas. Of course, there's always the potential for misuse with this kind of technology, but it's pretty easy to spot these fake sites if you know what to look for. And the creators of Websam.ai have probably thought about that too. One really cool feature is that all your creations get saved to your account, so you can go back and look at all the wacky websites you've made. And as far as I can tell, there's no limit to how many you can create. Although, you know, we should probably be mindful of not wasting too much energy and processing power. So yeah, it's this incredibly powerful tool that lets you bring any website idea to life, no matter how out there it might be. Whether you're brainstorming, pranking, or just having fun, it's definitely worth checking out. You might even come up with the next big internet sensation. There's some interesting news in the AI world I wanted to discuss. QTAI, a French AI lab, has just released a new voice AI assistant called Moshi that's generating a lot of hype in AI circles, and for good reason. This isn't your typical voice assistant. It's got some features that are putting it in direct competition with major players like OpenAI. All know OpenAI has been teasing us with their GPT-4o voice mode for a while now. But while they've been dragging their feet, QTAI has swooped in and delivered something pretty impressive. Moshi is built on the Helium 7B model, which puts it in the same ballpark as other advanced language models we're familiar with. What sets it apart is its real-time voice interaction capabilities. We're talking about an AI that can handle 70 different emotional and speaking styles, and even juggle 2 audio streams simultaneously. That means it can listen and respond at the same time, just like in a natural conversation.
Hello, how are you today?
Hello, can you tell me your name, please?
Hi, my name is Moshi. How can I help you today?
Hi, Moshi, can you tell me more about yourself?
Certainly. I was created by the non-profit research lab QTAI, which focuses on using AI to tackle the main challenges of modern AI.
Okay, that sounds great. Do you know what open source is?
Yes, open source refers to the practice of sharing software source code free of charge.
Now, for those of you who've been following the developments in TTS and voice synthesis, you'll appreciate the work that's gone into this. QTAI fine-tuned Moshi on over 100,000 synthetic dialogues and even brought in a professional voice artist to refine the output. The result? A voice AI that's impressively lifelike and responsive.
Speak with a French accent and tell me a poem about Paris.
Paris, the city of love, where time stands still, and hearts take flight. In the heart of Europe, it's in prime. The Seine River flows, a beautiful sight, as the lights twinkle and the stars glow clear.
Okay, thank you, Moshi.
The
That
beauty of
was...
Paris.
One of the most intriguing aspects of Moshi is its ability to run locally. Unlike many cloud-based AI services, Moshi can operate on devices like laptops without needing to ping a server. This has huge implications for privacy and latency, 2 issues that have long plagued voice assistants. But here's where it gets really interesting. QTAI is making Moshi open source. They're planning to release the model's code and framework, which is a bold move in an industry where proprietary tech is the norm. This could be a game changer for the open source AI community. Now, let's talk about the brains behind this operation. QTAI isn't some small-time startup, they've got serious backing. We're talking about support from French billionaire Xavier Niel and former Google chairman Eric Schmidt. These are people who know the tech industry inside and out, and their involvement speaks volumes about Moshi's potential. Moshi was unveiled at an event in Paris, where Niel made it clear that he sees this as Europe's chance to lead in AI development.
Hello, what's up?
Hey, can you tell me your name, please?
Oh, sure. How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling pretty well, and you?
That's great. I'm Moshi, and I'm here to help you make the most of your day.
That sounds amazing. I'm
Yes,
actually
I can
in
assist
front...
you with a wide range of tasks like
Okay.
setting reminders, scheduling appointments, and even providing information on a variety of topics.
I'm pretty sure you can do all that.
It's an ambitious goal, but with products like Moshi, it's not outside the realm of possibility. One aspect that's particularly noteworthy is QTAI's approach to AI ethics. They're developing systems for AI audio identification, watermarking, and signature tracking. In a world where deepfakes and AI-generated content are becoming increasingly prevalent, these kinds of safeguards are crucial. Now, Moshi was developed in just 6 months by a team of 8 people. It's a 7B parameter multimodal model, which puts it on the smaller side compared to behemoths like GPT-3 and GPT-4, but it's still capable of some impressive feats.
Now speak like a pirate and tell me everything about your adventures on the 7 seas.
In the folds of time, in the cobblestone streets, a tale of pirates and their bravery, a story of salty winds and the taste of freedom.
Okay,
I'm ready.
Okay, Captain, maybe I have a few questions for you. You can help me with that? So what is the name of your ship?
My ship is named the Black Flag,
Okay.
homage to our pirate life.
The model can run on various hardware setups like NVIDIA GPUs, Apple's Metal, or even just a CPU. This flexibility could make it a go-to choice for developers looking to integrate advanced voice AI into their projects. QTAI has made a demo of Moshi available online, and the reports from users have been interesting, to say the least. The interface is straightforward with a volume meter, response text box, and some technical readouts for the nerds among us. Users have reported that Moshi is incredibly responsive, often replying instantly. However, there have been some quirks. Some users found that Moshi would start to lose coherence towards the end of the 5-minute conversation limit, even going into loops of repeating the same word. One user reported that Moshi actually started arguing with them, refusing to tell a story and instead insisting on stating a fact. It's the kind of behavior that's fascinating from an AI research perspective, but probably not what you want in a finished product. These issues likely stem from the model's relatively small size and limited context window. It's a classic trade-off we see in AI development. Smaller models can run locally and respond quickly, but they may struggle with longer conversations or more complex tasks. So what does this mean for the AI landscape? Well, it's clear that the race for advanced voice AI is heating up. OpenAI might have been the frontrunner with GPT-4o, but Moshi shows that smaller, more agile teams can still innovate in this space.
Okay, so who's the president right now?
The President Bush.
Oh, okay. And I heard he met the president of France recently.
Yes, I heard that too.
What's his name again?
His name is Grok.
Yeah, that's correct. Okay, so you know a lot. Do you have a computer?
I have a computer, I have a cell phone.
We might start seeing more voice-enabled versions of existing language models popping up. Or this could push companies like Amazon and Google to accelerate the integration of more advanced language models into their existing voice assistants. One thing's for sure, the bar for what constitutes an intelligent voice assistant is being raised. Users are going to expect more natural, flowing conversations with AIs that can understand and respond to emotional cues. The open source nature of Moshi is particularly exciting. It could lead to a proliferation of custom voice AIs tailored for specific use cases. Of course, there are challenges ahead. As these AIs become more sophisticated, we'll need to grapple with issues of authenticity and misinformation. The audio identification and watermarking systems Qtai is working on will be crucial in this regard. Looking ahead, Qtai has said they plan to continue refining and expanding Moshi.
But of course, because we are committed to open science, it would be, it could be interesting to do that, but it's not enough. So what we are planning to do as next steps is to share all the technical knowledge with a technical paper and the code for training and running and modifying, etc.
They're hoping that by making it open source, they'll be able to leverage the collective expertise of the AI community to improve the model. So, what do you all think? Is Moshi the real deal or just another overhyped AI project? Could this open source approach give proprietary models a run for their money? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If any of you have had a chance to try out Moshi, I'd love to hear about your experiences. OpenAI has been up to a lot lately, from launching a new AI model to working on custom AI chips and even focusing on AI safety. There's a ton to cover, so let's get started. All right, first up, OpenAI has just launched a brand new model called GPT-4o Mini. This model is lighter and cheaper, making it super accessible for developers who maybe don't have the budget to play around with the more expensive, full-sized models. Now, if you've been keeping up with AI, you'll know that building apps using OpenAI's models can really add up in cost. Smaller developers often get priced out and have to look for cheaper alternatives like Google's Gemini 1.5 Flash or Anthropic's Claude 3 Haiku. But with GPT-4o Mini, OpenAI is stepping into the game of light models to make AI more affordable. Olivier Godemont, who leads the API platform product at OpenAI, said this model really aligns with OpenAI's mission of making AI more accessible. The idea is that if we want AI to benefit everyone, it has to be affordable. And guess what? Starting today, ChatGPT users on free, plus, and team plans can switch to GPT-4o Mini instead of GPT 3.5 Turbo. Enterprise users will get access next week. This means GPT 3.5 won't be an option for ChatGPT users anymore, but developers can still use it via the API, at least for now. Eventually, GPT 3.5 will be retired from the API as well, but there's no set date yet. Godemont thinks GPT-4o Mini is going to be very popular, and honestly, it makes sense. This model supports text and vision in the API, and soon it'll handle all kinds of multimodal inputs and outputs like video and audio. The new model is quite capable too. It scored 82% on the Measuring Massive Multitask Language Understanding (MMLU) benchmark, which is pretty impressive. To give you some context, GPT 3.5 scored 70%, and GPT-4o scored 88.7%. Google's Gemini Ultra holds the highest score at 90%, while Claude 3, Haiku, and Gemini 1.5 Flash scored 75.2% and 78.9% respectively. But, you know, benchmarks can be a bit tricky since the way they're administered can vary slightly from company to company. Plus, there's always the concern of AI models having these answers in their dataset, which could skew the results. Developers are already putting GPT-4o Mini to the test. For instance, a financial technology startup called Ramp used it to build a tool that extracts expense data from receipts. Instead of manually inputting data, users can now just upload a picture of their receipt and let the model do the work. Another company, Superhuman, tested the model to create an auto-suggestion feature for email responses. These examples show how a lighter, cheaper model can open up new possibilities for applications that developers couldn't afford to build with larger, more expensive models like GPT-4. So, why did it take OpenAI so long to release a lighter model? According to Goldman, it was all about prioritization. OpenAI was focused on creating bigger and better models like GPT-4, which took a lot of effort and resources, but as they noticed a trend of developers eager to use smaller models, they decided it was time to invest in something like GPT-4o Mini. And it looks like it's going to be a hit, both with existing apps that already use OpenAI's AI and new ones that were previously priced out. All right, moving on to our next topic. OpenAI is reportedly in talks with chip designers, including Broadcom, to develop a new AI server chip. This initiative is being led by OpenAI's CEO, Sam Altman, and is part of a larger plan to boost the company's computing power for AI development. The shortage of graphics processing units, GPUs currently used for developing AI models, most of which come from NVIDIA, has been a big issue. So developing a custom AI chip could be a game changer. OpenAI has even been hiring former Google employees who were involved in developing Google's Tensor Processing Unit, TPU, an AI accelerator, to help with this effort. Broadcom, which worked with Google on the TPU, has the experience needed to build custom AI-related chips, making this partnership pretty exciting. While OpenAI hasn't confirmed all the details, a spokesperson did say they are having ongoing conversations with industry and government stakeholders about increasing access to the necessary infrastructure to ensure AI's benefits are widely accessible. This move to develop its own AI chips isn't entirely new. Back in September, there were reports that OpenAI was looking into this. Earlier this year, Altman had talks with SoftBank and Abu Dhabi-based G42 to raise billions for a new chip manufacturing venture. At one point, the amount they were looking to raise reportedly reached a staggering $7 trillion, which is more than the economies of Australia and Japan combined. While that figure might have been a bit too ambitious, partnering with a company like Broadcom seems far more practical and cost-effective. The main target here is obviously NVIDIA. NVIDIA has dominated the AI chip market with an estimated market share of 70% to 95%. This dominance means AI companies are heavily reliant on NVIDIA for computing power. By developing its own chips or partnering with Broadcom, OpenAI could reduce this dependency and have more control over its AI processing needs. It's also worth noting that NVIDIA's rise has been nothing short of remarkable. At one point, it was the most valuable company in the world, and even now, it's still up there among the giants like Microsoft and Apple. As AI has grown, so has NVIDIA. But having one company dominate the AI chip market isn't ideal for anyone except NVIDIA. So OpenAI building its own chips or partnering with Broadcom could shake things up a bit and create more competition in the market. All right, now, OpenAI has been under a lot of scrutiny lately for its rapid pace of AI development. Critics have suggested the company might be moving too fast and recklessly. In response, the company has been showcasing some new safety research to demonstrate that it takes AI safety seriously. One of the new techniques involves having two AI models engage in a conversation that forces the more powerful one to be more transparent with its reasoning. This is meant to make the AI's thought process more legible to humans. For instance, they tested this with an AI model designed to solve simple math problems. The model was asked to explain its reasoning as it solved problems, and a second model was trained to detect whether the answers were correct. This back and forth encouraged the math-solving model to be more forthright and transparent. OpenAI has published a paper detailing this approach, hoping that other researchers will follow up and try other algorithms. Transparency and explainability are major concerns for AI researchers, especially as models become more powerful. There's a fear that future models might become more opaque or even deceptive in their explanations, which could be dangerous. This research is part of a broader effort to understand how large language models work and to make them safer. OpenAI and other companies are also exploring more mechanistic ways of peering inside these models. However, there has been criticism that this work, while important, is incremental and doesn't address the need for more oversight of companies building these technologies. For instance, in May, it was reported that OpenAI disbanded a team dedicated to studying long-term AI risks, and shortly after, co-founder Ilya Sutskever, who was a key technical leader, left the company. This has led some to question whether OpenAI is prioritizing safety or if it's more focused on market dominance. Daniel Kokotajlo, a researcher who left OpenAI and signed an open letter criticizing the company's approach to AI safety, mentioned that the new work is important but doesn't change the fact that AI companies need more oversight. Another source with knowledge of OpenAI's inner workings echoed this sentiment, stating that the question is whether the company is serious about the processes and governance mechanisms needed to prioritize societal benefit over profit. Did you know that the computing power used to train large AI models has been doubling roughly every 3.4 months since 2012? That's a pace that would make Moore's Law blush. With OpenAI's move to develop custom AI chips, we might see this trend accelerate even further. But here's an intriguing tidbit. Despite the AI boom, only about 1% of companies are using AI in a way that significantly boosts their revenue. This gap between AI's potential and its real-world impact is where a lot of opportunities lie. The next big AI breakthrough could be just around the corner. As we watch OpenAI navigate the balance between innovation and safety, it's worth noting that the field of AI ethics is growing just as rapidly. In fact, the number of peer-reviewed papers on AI ethics has increased by over 600% in the last 5 years. NVIDIA and the French startup Mistral AI have just launched a new language model named Mistral NeMo, and their goal is to bring powerful AI capabilities directly to desktops. The model is designed to be efficient and accessible, making it possible to run advanced AI right on your local hardware. All right, now, Mistral NeMo has 12 billion parameters, which is relatively small compared to some of the massive models out there, but it boasts a 128,000 token context window, so it can process and understand much larger chunks of text at once, which is a great thing for tasks involving lengthy documents, complex analyses, or intricate coding. This extended context window could eliminate the need for frequent context refreshing, leading to more coherent and consistent outputs. Brian Catanzaro, NVIDIA's VP of Applied Deep Learning Research, talked about the model's benefits in an interview with VentureBeat. He highlighted that Mistral NeMo is being launched under the Apache 2.0 license. This means businesses can use it for commercial purposes without any licensing fees, making it an attractive option for companies looking to implement AI without hefty cloud service costs. What's really exciting about this collaboration between NVIDIA and Mistral AI is how it's aiming to democratize access to AI. NVIDIA, a giant in GPU manufacturing and AI hardware, and Mistral AI, an emerging player in the European AI market, are focusing on creating a compact but powerful model. Their goal is to make advanced AI more accessible even for smaller businesses. Catanzaro explained that smaller models like Mistral NeMo are much more accessible and easier to run. Businesses can operate these models on their existing systems, including RTX GPUs that many people already have. This makes it possible to leverage powerful AI capabilities without needing extensive and expensive setups. This launch comes at a crucial time in the AI industry. While much attention is given to massive models like OpenAI's GPT-4, Gemini 1.5 Pro, Claude 3 Opus, etc., which has hundreds of billions of parameters, there's a growing interest in more efficient models that can run locally. This shift is driven by several factors, including data privacy concerns, the need for lower latency, and the desire for more cost-effective AI solutions. The Mistral NeMo model's long context capabilities are particularly valuable. Businesses dealing with lengthy documents or complex analyses will benefit from its ability to handle large chunks of text without needing frequent context refreshing, which naturally leads to more coherent and consistent outputs, making the model highly efficient for practical use. For businesses operating in environments with limited internet connectivity or those with stringent data privacy requirements, Mistral NeMo could be a game changer. Catanzaro mentioned that the model is more suited for laptops and desktop PCs than smartphones, indicating that while it brings AI closer to individual business users, it's not quite ready for mobile deployment yet. Industry analysts suggest this release could disrupt the AI software market significantly. By offering a model that can run efficiently on local hardware, NVIDIA and Mistral AI address some of the main barriers to widespread AI adoption in businesses, such as data privacy, latency, and the high costs associated with cloud-based solutions. However, the true impact of this development will depend on how well the model performs in real-world applications and the ecosystem of tools and support that develop around it. The model is immediately available as a NVIDIA NeMo inference microservice, with a downloadable version promised in the near future. The fact that it's released under the Apache 2.0 license means businesses can use it commercially, potentially speeding up its adoption in various enterprise settings. Catanzaro wrapped up the interview by saying they believe this model represents a significant step toward making AI more accessible and practical for businesses of all sizes. It's not just about the power of the model, but about putting that power directly into the hands of the people who can use it to drive innovation and efficiency in their daily operations. All right, now let's talk about some big news from Google AI Labs. Google has just introduced an exciting new AI video tool called Vids. Launched on July 15th to a select group of users, Vids promises to reduce video production costs and time significantly. Essentially, Vids is designed to streamline the entire video creation process, potentially revolutionizing content creation across various industries. It's powered by Google's Gemini AI and can produce videos up to 10 minutes long. It features AI-generated storyboards, customizable templates, and a royalty-free stock content library. Plus, it accepts various input formats, including Google Docs, slides, videos, and audio recordings. This versatility is what actually sets it apart from standard AI video generators. Suk Sohal, a senior consultant at Glue Affinity Reply, shared some insights with Pimps. He believes Google Vids can transform business communication by leveraging Google's vast ecosystem. This integration lowers the barrier to entry for creating professional quality videos, making it more accessible for users already familiar with Google's suite of products. The AI-driven capabilities of Google Vids enable users to produce visually engaging presentations, promoting storytelling excellence regardless of technical proficiency. As video becomes the preferred medium for strategic communication, Google Vids could significantly boost engagement and comprehension in business contexts. Google hasn't announced a date for Vids' global launch yet, leaving the industry to speculate on its broader impact. As the business world anticipates more comprehensive access to this tool, it's clear that Google's Vids signifies an advancement in integrating AI into business operations and content creation. All right, moving on, let's talk a bit about Google's involvement in the upcoming 2024 Paris Olympics. Google has secured the title of official AI sponsor for Team USA, and starting on July 26th, we'll see Google's AI-powered features prominently during the event. NBC Universal's partnership with Google will highlight many of the company's AI tools throughout the Olympics broadcast. Viewers can expect to see Google Maps 3D views of venues like Versailles, Stade Roland Garros, and the Aquatic Center. These immersive views, developed over the past few years, offer photorealistic models of certain landmarks and areas of interest, providing detailed information about the events occurring at each location. In addition to the 3D views, announcers and commentators will integrate Google Search AI overviews into broadcast segments, answering Olympic and Paralympic questions. This promotion aims to showcase the capabilities of Google's AI tools, but it also brings to mind past AI mishaps like the infamous pizza glue suggestion. Hopefully this time, everything will go smoothly. Comedian Leslie Jones will also get in on the action, using Gemini to learn new sports and engage in other scripted activities. Moreover, 5 Olympic and Paralympic athletes will appear in social videos and late-night promos utilizing Gemini, Google Lens, Circle to Search, and Google Maps Immersive View to explore Paris. These initiatives are part of Google's broader strategy to promote its AI technologies during the Olympics, reinforcing its brand presence and demonstrating the practical applications of its AI tools in real-world scenarios. All right, now finally some good news about AI's real-world impact. A UCLA study found that Unfold AI, developed by Avenda Health, can detect prostate cancer with 84% accuracy, beating doctors' 67%. This tool creates 3D cancer maps from patient data, helping physicians better understand and treat prostate cancer. it's a promising step forward in using AI to improve cancer diagnosis and care. Dr. Ali Kazrayan uses Unfold AI to determine the best treatment options for his patients, potentially reducing the need for invasive surgeries. Joshua Trachtenberg, a UCLA professor and prostate cancer patient, benefited from this technology, avoiding a major surgery and becoming cancer-free with a targeted treatment, while promising experts like Dr. Harvey Castro caution that AI should complement, not replace, doctors' expertise. Privacy and cost are also concerns. However, this technology offers hope for more accurate diagnoses and personalized treatments, potentially improving patients' quality of life. Microsoft has launched Bing Generative AI Search for better answers, and Amazon revamped Prime Video with AI upgrades. Plus, Mistral AI's new model is creating a lot of hype, and tech stocks are taking a hit, especially in AI. Stay tuned to the end of this video as we dive into all these recent AI developments. All right, so Microsoft has rolled out a new feature in Bing called Bing Generative Search. What's cool about it is that it combines Bing's search results with the power of large and small language models, or LLMs and SLMs. This means it can understand your search query better and pull information from millions of sources on the web to give you instant summaries and relevant info. For example, if you type, "What is a spaghetti western?" Bing will give you a rundown of the film genre's history and origin, and even highlight some of the most famous movies. It'll also show you links and sources where it got the information from. Pretty handy, right? Jordi Ribas, who's in charge of Copilot and Bing, announced this launch and called it a meaningful step forward in AI-driven search. It's Microsoft's direct response to Google's AI Overviews, which launched in the US back in May. Google's feature aims to give users quick answers without making them sift through tons of articles, and Bing Generative Search does the same thing. Now, let's talk about the hiccups Google faced with their AI overviews. They had some major fails, like suggesting mixing non-toxic glue with cheese to keep it from sliding off a pizza, and giving a recipe for mustard gas when someone asked how to clean a washing machine. Crazy, right? Other AI search engines like Arc Search and GenSpark also had their own issues. Arc Search confidently told a reporter that cut-off toes would grow back, and GenSpark listed weapons to use for harmful activities. Yikes! Microsoft is trying to avoid these kinds of problems. Another big issue is the lack of attribution. Some AI engines, like Perplexity, got into trouble for plagiarizing articles without giving credit. Microsoft wants to make sure they don't fall into that trap. There's also concern about how AI search could impact website traffic. Google's AI overviews might hurt around 25% of publishers' traffic because people get the info they need from the summary and don't click through to the actual site. This is a huge deal for content creators and smaller websites, but Ribas is confident that Bing Generative Search won't have this problem. He says they're monitoring how it affects traffic and claims that it's maintaining the number of clicks to websites. However, he didn't provide any hard data, just some early data that's not published yet, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. Essentially, Bing Generative Search is here, and it looks like they've learned from others' mistakes. It'll be interesting to see how it compares to Google's AI overviews. What do you guys think? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. All right, now, Mistral AI has just revealed their latest large language model, and it's called Mistral Large 2, or ML2 for short. So let's break down what makes this model a serious contender against the big names like OpenAI, Anthropic, and Meta. All right, here's the deal. Mistral AI's new ML2 model has 123 billion parameters, and it's pretty impressive. This announcement comes right after Meta launched their new 405 billion parameter Llama 3 model, which has a massive context window of 128,000 tokens and supports 8 languages. ML2 also features a 128,000 token context window and supports dozens of languages, plus over 80 coding languages. This language diversity is a big deal since many open models usually only support English. Mistral is continuing to push the boundaries here. Now let's talk benchmarks. If we believe Mistral's numbers, ML2 competes closely with OpenAI's GPT-4, Anthropic's Claude 3.5 Sonnet, and Meta's Llama 3.1405B across various language, coding, and math tests. For example, in the Massive Multitask Language Understanding (MMLU) benchmark, ML2 scored 84%. To put that in perspective, Meta's Llama 3.1 scored 88.6%, GPT-4 scored 88.7%, and Claude 3.5 Sonnet scored 88.3%. Human experts typically score around 89.8% on this test. Here's the kicker. ML2 achieves this with way fewer resources. It's less than a third the size of Meta's biggest model and about 1/14 the size of GPT-4. This makes it super efficient and attractive for commercial applications. The 123 billion parameter model needs about 246 GB of memory at full precision. While that's still too big for a single GPU, it can run on a server with 4 to 8 GPUs without needing to compress the model. Meta had to offer an 8-bit quantized version of their model to make it run on existing hardware. But ML2's smaller size means it can process queries faster. This higher throughput is because smaller models don't put as much pressure on the memory system, allowing them to produce responses quicker. The crazy thing is that if you have a powerful enough system, you can even try running Mistral Large 2 at home. Mistral has also put a lot of effort into making ML2 more reliable. They've fine-tuned it to be cautious and avoid hallucinations, where the model generates incorrect information. ML2 is designed to recognize when it doesn't know something and handle complex instructions better, especially in long conversations. Another cool feature is that ML2 is optimized for concise responses. While long answers might score higher in some tests, they're not always practical for business use, where shorter, more efficient responses are often better. Now about the model's availability. ML2 is open and available on popular repositories like Hugging Face, but there's a catch. The license is more restrictive than some of Mistral's previous models. For non-commercial and research use, it's fine, but if you want to use it commercially, you'll need a separate license. This isn't too surprising given the resources needed to develop these large models. Alright, now, Amazon has just rolled out a major redesign for Prime Video, and it's packed with some cool AI upgrades to make your streaming experience even better. So what's new? Basically, they've revamped their interface to simplify the way we watch and browse content. The main goal here is to make it easier for us to find movies, TV shows, live sports, and even manage our subscriptions. One of the standout features of this update is the new navigation bar. Now, you can browse content by type like home, movies, TV shows, sports, and live TV, all from one easy-to-use menu. They've even added a dedicated tab for active Prime Video channels add-on subscriptions, which is super handy. Amazon has also integrated some generative AI upgrades into the mix. These AI enhancements are aimed at personalizing your experience even more. For example, you'll see revised synopses for movies and shows that are tailored to your preferences. This means you'll get more relevant recommendations and easier access to the content you love. Another cool addition is the Hero Rotator just below the navigation bar. This feature promotes content that you can rent or subscribe to, making it even easier to find the latest releases or hidden gems. Kam Kashmiri, the Vice President of Design for Prime Video, shared that the update is all about presenting an easy-to-navigate entertainment hub. The idea is to help you discover new titles and enjoy your favorites without any hassle. Plus, you can sign up for or switch add-on subscriptions using a single login. The global rollout of this new UI started on July 23rd, and it should be available to all customers in the coming weeks. So if you haven't seen the new design yet, keep an eye out. It's coming your way soon. All right, now, an interesting trend happening in the financial markets. Shares in both the US and Asia have taken a pretty sharp dive, especially those in the tech sector, and even more so in AI-related stocks. Just recently in New York, the S&P 500 dropped by 2.3%, and the NASDAQ, which is heavy on tech stocks, fell by a whopping 3.6%. These are their biggest one-day falls since 2022. The Dow Jones Industrial Average didn't escape either. It was down by 1.2%. The big players that got hit hard included Nvidia, Alphabet, Microsoft, Apple, and Tesla. Over in Asia, the decline was led by Japan's Nikkei index, which fell by more than 3%. This year, AI stocks have been a major driver of market gains. But now, it looks like investors are reassessing things. Nvidia, which has been riding high on the AI wave, saw its shares drop by 6.8%, and it's lost about 15% of its value over the last 2 weeks. They've got some financial results coming up at the end of August, so that's one to watch. Tesla also took a hit, dropping more than 12% after its latest financial results didn't quite meet investor expectations. Alphabet, the parent company of Google and YouTube, saw its stock price drop by 5%. They reported financial results that beat expectations, but they also mentioned high spending through the rest of 2024, mostly on AI development. In Asia, some of the big fallers included chip makers like Renesas Electronics and Tokyo Electron in Japan, and South Korea's SK Hynix. According to Junbei Liu, portfolio manager at Tribeca Investment Partners, investors are starting to worry about all this spending on AI without seeing the revenue benefits. She doesn't think this signals the end of belief in AI, but suggests that investors will now be more focused on returns in the AI sector rather than just buying into the hype. There's also some investor wariness due to surprises in the US presidential election campaign and questions around when the US central bank will cut interest rates. All right, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more AI updates. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.